I don't know, man. Like I said it before, if the challenge is a video game, or if the challenge of a video game is overcoming the controls, like that's not good difficulty. That's just frustrating.
Eh,
That's
I'd like
why,
a game to have good, controls. That'd be nice.
yeah, I don't know. It's just I can't get into stuff like Meat Boy and whatnot, where 90% of the challenge is just getting used to the game's shitty controls.
Boy?
Yeah.
So, it was the first big game by the guy that did Binding of Isaac.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Isaac is much better.
yeah. Anyway, let's do this shit. When we left off, you guys, we had just ended combat. We called it right at the end of combat. You guys are in piss poor shape. You're really hurt. Let me drag you over there. Where are we? You had kind of pushed your way deeper into the Firebird's Roost. You completed a couple of the trials, as well as a couple of puzzles, including a coloring book, which was very difficult, but we got through it together like a family. The trial that you just completed is down here. There's still a lot of fire burning all over this place. Elise looks, in fact, several of you look terrible, but we called it right as things kind of like died down. So if you guys want to take a second to heal up or whatever, everything has gone quiet within this room. And you do see that some of the energy from the shattered daggers, as well as some that kind of seeped out of the visor of this large construct, have kind of seeped out and been drawn into these two large murals at the sides of the rooms.
Yeah. No one here to come talk to us this time.
I'm gonna start taking apart this robot.
All right, excellent.
I'm going to absorb some of the health and mana that they give you when you win.
So you go over to either one of these murals, and when you do, you can see that both figures emerge. From the northernmost one, there is a very sleek, gaunt, kind of regally dressed Kenra ghost that emerges. He's very heavily adorned in golden jewelry and armbands and neckbands. He's got some like flowing silks. He looks like an old-fashioned king or emperor of some sort. And he kind of he looks down even at you. He's very tall, probably a little bit over 7 feet tall. So even for you, the tallest member of the party, are you, or is it Vasu? I forget.
It's Vasu, 6'10". Vasu 6'10".
Yeah. Even Vasu has to look up a little bit to this guy as this just enormously slender figure just looks down, not quite with a scowl, but with a very kind of stoic face. And then from the other one, emerging behind you, is this immediately cantankerous, short gnome. Even shorter than a halfling, probably about on par with Ace and Gale. He's got this massive backpack and a tool belt that's bigger than he is. His boots go all the way up to his thighs, basically. He looks like a wreck. He looks disheveled. His hair is way too long. He needs a haircut. He's got a beard that grows basically down to his belly button. He almost just looks like a couple of lanky, gloved arms sticking out of a bundle of long hair and beard, with little bits of, gnome garb and engineering supplies all over him. It's like, God, fuck, blasting, where, oh, am I still here? God damn it. Where's all the little guys?
Not here. Predisposed.
Oh, fine. Oh, look, you made a wreck of the... Hey, what are you doing? Don't mess with... What are you doing? What are you
Give
doing?
me your
He
ass.
yells up to Gale.
Just keep going.
Oh, God. No respect. Where are the keeper? They should be dealing with all of this. And from across the room next to you, Nomad, the Kenra says, Silence, friend. I'm sure there's some explanation for all this. I see you
How'd you
made
power
it.
this?
Oop, what's that?
How'd you power this?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know? Stealing my secrets, you would.
Borrowing your secrets.
Yeah, well, you can't. They're mine.
It's okay, we'll take it apart and find out.
Probably nothing but fucking ectoplasm and ghost shit in there anyway. None of this stuff is real. Right? Right? I don't think any of this stuff is real. I'll just say it's real. Just to get you to...
Felt real.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels real. It feels real until it isn't. And then it isn't. It's not.
It's true. The former floors were all the same. It hurt, but they were not real. Not in the real sense.
If you...
Did paranoia kill this guy?
Fuck no, not paranoia. It's only paranoid if you're wrong. I was sabotaged. Sabotaged, I tell you what. It was those manufacturers. Give me faulty parts. They blew up, I tell you.
Did you not do a routine check on the parts before using them?
Of course I
I'm gonna get away from this thing.
See, good, you do have a head on your shoulder. Wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't fuck that with a 20-foot pole.
Why would you consider fucking it?
Listen, what a man does with his own inventions is none of your goddamn business. I was perfectly happy until the war started.
Side glance, Gale.
Fucking government issues, manufacturers. I perfectly fine supplying my own stuff. I could have done it in just the right amount of time, but no, we gotta go with the external, the third-party manufacturers. Don't have enough time to wait, they said. Fuck, price I paid.
Who were they?
I don't even remember. But it was a setup, I tell you. Sabotage from the start. I'm sure it was probably Johansson or, I don't know, somebody trying to steal my secrets. Could have been anyone. They all wanted them. Gale, in the short time that you dug around there, go and give me a Tinker's Tools check. Oh. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well. Alright, sure. Let's do it. Why not? You notice that even... So, like, as you start pulling bits and pieces out of this, you notice a few things. The first is that every time you pull something free, it kind of just, like, dissolves into ectoplasm. It turns to goop as soon as it is free from this body. Yeah, that's legit, too, if you want to throw that on there. Shoot for a 40. Let's see it.
If I had the time.
Yeah, why not? Let's see if you can make this a 40.
Oh.
That felt real good. However, even from that, it appears that the designs themselves are actually reasonable, they make sense, and they're actually fairly brilliant. With a little bit of study in particular, you check out that hatch that opened that you were so desperate to climb into. And taking a look around inside of there, you believe that you could probably replicate a little bit of what you've seen. I'm going to show you a thing.
Are you saying I can make a prismatics wall robot?
I mean, maybe what you can make is...
Think carefully before answering that.
Here, let's see, 38. So minus that. Okay, math hard. All right, I think this will only show up to Gale. Okay. So, with 32 hours of work and 320 gold of material, you could potentially learn to make this. And that would involve making it and arming it the first time. After that, there's an additional cost to kind of rearm it, but that's described down at the bottom of it.
What is this device? I'm sorry, my laptop's not working, so I only have Discord right now.
For the time
It's only
being,
mine.
I've only shown it to Gale so far. It's up to... You're very welcome to share it if you want.
I
But...
I just meant more like I don't even know what's in the room we're in right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Big robot.
Right. Some people were not here at all last week. So what you guys fought at the end of the session last week was basically a very large clockwork construct that looked like a giant, a giant gnome, basically. And then there are two metallic pits on the north and sides out of the room, these long halls sort of thing. Those are about 5-foot deep pits with metal along the bottom, and they were just laden with traps. There were fire traps and water traps and a whole bunch of other traps that went off over the course of the fight. And right now Gale is disassembling the robot itself.
Could I also assist him with that? I now have Tinker Tools.
Absolutely. You can give me a Tinker's Tools check to look it over.
All right. I don't have it up right now, but if someone wants to roll for me and add 12 to it,
You have a plus 12. Holy
I
shit.
have expert.
He's been studying. That makes sense for a Kenku. You've been watching. That's pretty good. What is that, 21? 21, you are not able to learn it quickly enough that you think you could actually make it on your own. It's still a little bit too advanced for you. You've been studying hard. You're very good at this. You've kind of picked up a lot of skills by watching Gale and Nomad and just learning to mimic them with your Kenku self. But this is still pretty advanced even for you. But you do get the rough gist of it. You get the sense that it's some sort of a device that is designed to make little robots and eject those little robots for some reason. It's some sort of a little robot dispenser. Amen to that, Norda. Drake is always a delight, but you do have to be very careful with all of your rulings.
Can I use a medicine check to repair the ship? It's like, I would allow it, but that's going to come back and bite me like 60 sessions from now. I just know it.
It's always so great, too, when it does.
Yeah.
However, you do also notice something else with a nat 20. You notice that a lot of the parts inside of this thing, before you pull them out, especially the parts related to hydraulics and energy, have a mark on them that looks a little bit old-fashioned. But you recognize it because you've used parts from them before. They have been imported from across the sea to the southeast, from Valdalance, and they in turn probably imported them from farther south themselves. Or sorry, not Valdalance, Ismark. It is basically a picture of a little round bomb, like your typical cartoon bomb, with a big old smiley face on it, kind of like the old cheesy 20s cartoon, you know, the big eyes and the big toothy smile, giving a gloved thumbs up with one hand that reads Blast Rather Manufacturing. And with a nat 20, you would know that that is a subsidiary of NSS.
Those bastards.
Back up by the mural, the tall Kenrat does place a hand on your shoulder, Nomad, and says, "It seems that even without the guides, you've figured out how this place works. Take some of this, rest, relax. If I remember correctly, I believe your trials are nearly done."
Thank you, I appreciate it. Could one go to Elise as well? She seems to be.
All
in need of it.
right, just bring her over. God, the moaning, always the moaning. Elise does kind of like kneel down to this little gnome and just kind of like extends a hand.
I'll walk up to that Kinra fella. These trials, you say they're almost over.
Yes, it is a little unfortunate. It's my understanding that this place once housed many, many more. Hundreds, thousands even. But something has happened. Something that the two original survivors can only remember faintly. Something that destroyed most of this place. And along with it, the souls of the people that once dwelt within it.
And for the new avatar, this fella here, and he kind of nods over towards Moat. What happens to him if he finishes these trials?
Well, if he manages to actually finish, it's my understanding he'd be the first since me. It'd be an impressive feat. I suppose that means that the trials of whatever war has been going on have ended, or that fewer eyes are watching in this direction at the very least. Many have come and either tried or abandoned their duty, but he would be the first to complete it since me and the two before me. It would reawaken the fire spirits within this place, within Bjarl. There would be a resurgence of technology as they are able to once again harvest some of the, well, rich materials that the fire elementals bring to this plane. In our day, there were a number of, well, and emotions across the hall. Bizarre inventions that harnessed this technology. I don't fully understand it. I was never a scientist in my time, but I do know that with the death of the Firebird, so went the death of a lot of civilization. A lot of technology simply ceased working. Elements that were once abundant within the caves and mines were not to be found. It's as if a part of the land died. Apart from that, I'm sure you'll earn the ire of many enemies. The other elements will come for you, for your loved ones. You won't be able to trust your friends or anyone. As soon as you get comfortable, they'll stab you in the back and you'll wind up here. It'll be a great party.
That's what happened to you then.
Me, at least. I think the obnoxious turtle a little farther up had it happen to him. Pretty sure one of the tiefling fellow had it happen to him. Fire burns both ways. A lot of people don't realize that.
Right. You don't happen to know how Toril Sophia died, did you? We got a book here that talks about how everyone died, but doesn't say much about her.
Yeah, no, she's actually the one that I had to study the most as I was training. She died of old age. Lucky bastard. Spent most of her twilight years just telling stories. I could never tell which ones were true and which ones weren't. It was the hardest part of the training. She was an open book, but half the pages were, best as I could tell, just complete and utter bullshit. Entertaining bullshit, all the same. But she eventually passed on, left behind a gaggle of dedicated followers and readers and fans who mourned her more than I think anyone else I'd ever seen in my time.
I understand.
Right. Speaking of housekeeping, let me give Elise some mana back. She definitely needs that.
And then it sounds like we're going to have her throw out a heal with a Beacon of Hope up, possibly.
I think Gale is going to throw out
Oh, right.
really good heals.
Yeah, I can
It'd be
deal
cool
with
if it'd be cool if she heals as well too. Because
Yeah.
of the beacon of
Yeah,
hope.
since you just maxed up on her mana, or not maxed up, but got a little
Yeah.
mana boost.
Yep.
Shu is still alive, right?
I
Shoo.
think so. I'm pretty sure she was alive.
Yeah, she's around.
Yeah, if Shu's around and Vasu just gets max health anyway.
Shu can't die.
Unless intentionally sacrificed,
Oh,
as she
great.
often is.
Of course. Yeah, she'll do a bunch of praise of healing. I think that is going to be her most efficient thing out of combat. I'm just going to pull it all together and we'll split it up however we want. I'm not too worried about getting it exact. So this is for one. She will take literally all of that and then throw out another one.
Nice.
Well, I have
With beacon of
40
hope. Yeah.
I have 48 left over from my aura, so I'll throw the 48 on Moat because he looks
Yeah.
worst off at the moment.
And do we have a Beacon
Also-
of Hope up?
Yeah, beacon of hope is up, so those are all maxed.
Oh, then shit, let me reroll this shit. That helps a lot.
And there's Gale's max rolls.
Okay, in that case, she will go and take another 7. Okay, she has 27 left over from her first casting.
Could I get 27?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't really need very much.
Go and take all of it, because then she'll throw out another one. So that'll be 114 from the second casting.
That's going to come pretty close to topping everybody off, right? 43 plus 114, 157 hit points left to split between everybody. I like I said there, I have room to take 6 HP before I'm maxed. I obviously don't need it.
That's fair.
45.
Say Ace takes 45, Moat takes enough to top off. How much do you need, Moat?
I am at 80. Sorry, I'm at 83 of. What is my max now? 120.
Yeah, so top off Ace and Moat and still have a little left over, I think. So 157, we could top off Ace, Moat, and Nomad. What's Flick at? Oh, Flick's not here tonight. Fuck him. Bossy's missing some health too.
Yeah, Vaso's missing 60.
Oh, 60, I see it there.
Let me know if you need another one.
I don't know if I'm gonna.
How much is left over currently, and how many of those dies can be rolled as max for my sake?
They all are because of Beacon of Hope.
Oh, awesome.
My computer's gonna kick the can again. It looks like that my new graphics card must have only lasted, might have only lasted a few months, and now it's just decided to stop.
Oh no.
So yeah, it's really sad. But I have my old one in there, so we'll see if it works.
Hope it lasts.
Sounds like Mode is actually going to drive over too because the internet's being unstable. So he'll be back in a bit.
So we'll have to artificially
So how much-
delay because we can't resurrect the Phoenix without Moat.
Yeah. So how much healing do we have left over currently?
Let's see. It was 157, and then Moat took 45, right?
I don't think he actually. It looks like he didn't actually get it maxed out on his sheet, but he was going to top off.
All right, and then Nomad will do 38. Philo will do 60. Does that put us negative? Okay, so Philo, Nomad, and Moat can fully heal real quick. I'll go and get Moat on a sheet, and that leaves 14 left over for somebody.
I think Ace needed some and has marked it, but I don't know where it came from yet.
Did I not get the 45 I needed?
You needed.
Not yet, but I think we're about to max it.
Okay, I needed 45.
Yep. So let me go ahead and throw another one of these out. That's 114 plus 14 minus 45.
No, it's unconscious. Oh, it's fine.
Okay, Ace is now topped off with 83 left over.
I'll grab 6 of that just to grab it.
Right, that is 77 left over, and I think that is pretty close to what Flick needs, so that works out nicely.
Excellent.
Oh, also, I was gonna take a language, and I I messaged you about it, and then I forgot. Can I take Kuatoa just to kind of like get all the
Sure,
get all
Yeah.
of my brethren's
Quality.
languages down?
absolutely. I will never deny a suboptimal pick for flavor.
Now I
Not
just
that,
have to pick a skill that I want to be proficient in. It's probably just gonna be history, but
although honestly, in effect campaign, is Kuatoa really suboptimal?
Right? Context is everything.
well, now I can pretend to be one and actually sound like and actually speak their language. So let's rewind back to the kidnapping episode.
All right, there are 25 points left over. I think everyone is topped off at this point.
I think so.
Pretty sure.
Give it to Shu. Do we have some magic item that like stores healing? Am I making that up completely?
Or I think you might be making it up. I don't
I
Probably.
know.
think you're
Yeah.
thinking of the shot class that's in your campaign.
Yeah. No, I think I'm thinking of the thing we have that lets you turn regular healing into temp HP healing, but no one's attuned to that.
Looks like we made it through a lot of rooms.
Yeah, we're down to basically the last one. We did a coloring book puzzle that nearly broke all of our friendships. And then we did a battle with a big steamy dragon and some plant monsters, and just showed those avatars very briefly. And then we did a puzzle.
Was I helpful?
Yeah, you were very helpful. We played you, and you dealt a shitload of damage as you do.
Do you guys remember that things have disadvantage when they try to hit me?
I don't think anything really hit you except for
It was
AOE's.
mostly AOE's, so you had to like
Gotcha.
avoid them.
And then we did a puzzle with some sails and wind and a dandelion.
Okay, so you had a Wind Waker puzzle. Gotcha.
We did, and then we did this room, which was a robot and some flying daggers, and it nearly fucked us all. And we finished it at like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds rough.
You do see, now that the spirits have relaxed, that this seam has kind of like sunken in about an inch. It's very clear that this is a passageway, although the stone slab is still there. It's just sunken in now.
What material is this bridge made of? Is it stone too?
Yep, looks like probably limestone or maybe a more sturdy stone, but probably just limestone.
Yeah.
Cool.
A question: are we allowed to rise back up to the top floor and then come back down without
Yeah.
being attacked again?
I don't believe there's any reason not to, but I'm not entirely sure.
Right. We're planning on short resting, right? I'm going to tell the druids that's what we're doing, so they don't like wait randomly.
We planning on resting here, like now?
I feel like that's a good amount to start with.
Well, we have their ectoplasm juice.
So we just finished doing all the healing, but I mean, I'll rest. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, we have the
That's-
ectoplasm juice. I'm at 30 mana. When I'm under half, I tend to start acting irrational. I just don't think that's.
You
Oh,
should take the ectoplasm juice.
I already did.
I
That's
say
the thing.
Elisa Nomad already took it. I
Uh,
guess I'm just saying I'd sooner get this last trial done and get out of here and be on our way than spend another day sleeping in here.
Yeah,
Right.
I really need a long rest, and we can't do that while we're here.
This ain't about me, obviously, but among other things, we got people waiting for us back in Seattle. Leah is who I'm thinking of, but I'm sure others are thinking of other people too.
It's true.
Been away for her a long time now, 4 or 5 days.
Well, we'll have to make do with my irrational thoughts then. Remember, I'm the only one here who doesn't condone genocide.
Who doesn't condone it?
Not
Yeah.
so sure that's true.
Wait, what?
I
You're speaking for a whole lot of people here, Nomad.
Exactly. How many of you were so easily into jumping? You see what I mean?
Jumping?
Before we go too much further down that rabbit hole, the next 2 trials we're going to face are 2 ladies who both died of old age. So that doesn't tell us a whole lot about what we're going to fight. One
Old people?
One had a warm heart and was a friend to all and was a keeper of stories. The way this feller talks about her seems like maybe she was a writer or an author of some sort. And the other one was inane and rambling of eldritch horrors beyond the moon. Sounds like maybe outsiders.
In a
Well-
time of strife, people who die of old age must have been very powerful.
It's true, I suppose.
This better be a shadow fight.
Define a shadow fight.
It's like a mirror match.
Oh,
Also, this module is really cool from this robot, but I don't think that any of us can use it.
It's the Orcish word for module.
Unga Boonga requires a construct.
That's far less clear.
but you have Toto.
Unga
Toto's
Boonga
already
robot
maxed on
cracker.
attunement.
Oh,
I feel like the closest thing would be like Unga Boonga robot cracker.
Sounds all right.
Like it's like an
It's-
upgrade chip, but like
chip.
orcs don't know things.
I love that appropriately the guy that Nordo is always asking for these Orcish translations is Ace, and Steven also always comes up with the best Orcish translations.
It's because
Orc.
it's because I speak orc. It's also because I don't know words.
Well, I know Moat just went catatonic once again, but the way this place has been going, we probably got one more puzzle in front of us and could ruin everything for everything. So, do you want to at least go see what we're dealing with next?
He is
Do it.
preparing for what comes ahead.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Nomad, what is your max mana? I'm just curious if it's higher than my health.
His max health is
Probably
probably higher than your health.
My health is maxed at 87. Unless I did, yeah. So you have more mana than I have health.
Wow.
Wow, wee wow.
Unless I did math wrong, but I don't think I did.
All right. It sounds like you guys are pressing down, yeah?
Yeah, I'll at least like push the door open and like see what's behind it.
All right. You do see that it swings open easily enough. It's on a couple of very large metal hinges. And when it does swing open, there is a very short staircase that goes down, maybe 15, 20 feet or so. And then it levels off into a hallway that opens up into a room. And you can smell electricity in the air, that kind of like burnt, static smell, little bits of iron. And the source of it is pretty apparent because in front of you in a large room is a grid of iron plate, some of which are kind of darker colored, and others which are kind of thin, almost just like a little coating of metal over it. And you can see that under the metal coating, there is lightning that kind of arcs and crackles underneath those tiles. Almost like one of those magic balls that you like with the plasma balls or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And you can see that it makes a grid. And you can
Like
also
a Faraday
see
cage?
more like one of those plasma balls.
Okay.
It keeps all this arcing electricity contained under it. It seems.
And then if you touch it, it like is drawn towards you, but you don't feel anything.
Yeah, exactly.
At least in the theory of what we have in our world, and not necessarily this puzzle.
Then before that grid on the floor, and directly in front of you, before you get to the grid, there's a stone pedestal, and on that stone pedestal there is an iron crown. Looks like a king's crown, but it is made entirely of this nicely polished iron, kind of a silvery color. And beyond that are some shapes that might be unfamiliar to some of you. Maybe Nordo might not recognize it. I don't know. You guys can basically decide for yourselves who recognizes it and who doesn't. But the shapes are familiar to a lot of you who are familiar with chess and gaming. Except they are made entirely out of fire, simply standing in place. Just these flaming chess pieces scattered across this grid. Norda, with your passive perception, you would spot it, and a few others might as well. You do notice that around the queen's waist is sort of like this metal band, which is unusual because none of the other pieces have any sort of physical presence. They're all just fire. And you guys do come in on the left side, sorry.
Okay.
She has some sort of a metal band around her waist, it seems. And you can also tell that there is writing in Primordial on the pedestal that lights up with Emote's torch, even though he is not here. And it reads in Primordial, "She who rules not, rules not." And it's spelled like this.
Like furry trash, not. Not. Gotcha. She who rules not, rules not. She who rules nothing does not rule.
This looks a little bit like the game some folks at the monastery used to play. I never learned how to play it though.
Yeah, it looks like we might have to fight things in a specific order or destroy them in a certain order without and leave the queen for last.
Well, if every other puzzle we've done in this place so far is to teach us something. Every one of them, there's one way to do it that just gets you past it, and that's the easy way. And if you do it just right and do the harder version of the puzzle, you get treasure.
Well, probably patience then, right? Chess is about patience and contemplating, thinking ahead, and I mean that kind of relates pretty easily with the dying of old age, right?
It's a really good thing
Patience.
that Mode is not here.
I assume that we have to fight them in a certain order. Maybe going after this guy since he can't be hit by anyone, and then maybe working our way. I guess it depends on which way that pawn's facing.
Shall we determine if they must be fought? I can
So,
try and identify the chessboard and see what happens.
It looks a little bit zappy. Don't you have to touch it to do that?
I'll try the black part at least.
Why not just try tossing something on there and see if
I'd
it zaps
recommend
it?
if you're going to identify a piece, I would touch this one, in case they attack whenever you touch a square that is in their attack radius.
It makes sense. Yeah, let us toss a rock in there and see if they do get zapped.
All right.
Yeah, I'll grab just some innocuous piece of, I don't know if I even have a rock, but just a little piece of,
Here's
what do
some
I have?
ectoplasm from the robot.
Sure. I'll scoop up some ectoplasm and throw it on there.
All right. You grab up a goop of ectoplasm. Is there anywhere specific that you toss it, or just kind of like onto the board right
I'll
in front
toss
of
it on the piece that Nomad was thinking about doing, this black one, and then just for science, I'll try it on one of the sparky pieces too.
All
yeah,
right.
for size.
You grab a little goop on each one. And you can see as soon as the goop lands, there is the smell of ozone and this crackling, popping noises like throwing bacon onto a hot pan. And you can see that the ectoplasm kind of like dances in place as it's being zapped and burnt, and eventually it melts away in a puff of very sour smelling smoke, like old eggs or, again, old bacon. The only difference that you notice when you toss it onto the other square, the one above it, is that it seems to zap a little harder, but they both seem to zap on contact.
Okay.
still think you should touch it.
It
Doesn't
seems
look like it'd
unwise.
feel
too.
real good. So these things, I don't know. Norda's not the right person to ask this. Do these things look like they're like sentient, alive, like that robot in the last room?
Yeah.
You could give me, oh boy, investigation or insight or tinker's
Can I-
tools. You could sell me on something.
Can I give you a guess investigation?
Yeah, that would work.
I'd like to just, if I can, try perception to just literally see, like, do these things have big coggy-looking things like the robot did?
Sure.
Just like similarities to that robot, because that's the only reference I have, or to Toto, I guess.
Nordo, you take a really good look around, and the thing that you notice is that apart from the weird metal band around the piece way back and back, the queen, none of them even have a physical form as best as you can tell. They appear to be made entirely of fire, like a fire elemental. That's the closest thing that it reminds you of. They don't appear to have any sort of physical structure whatsoever, aside from that bit that's suspended over there. With the 23, though, actually, you would probably be able to tell that it is not actually a band. It is actually like a whole cylindrical metal something. There's something that is like suspended inside of the queen that is metal and, vaguely cylindrical shape.
Gotcha.
Looking it over, you don't see any sort of indications that they have moving parts or gears or anything. It just looks like fire that's in fancy shapes. Reminds you of Elemental. Ace, you would be able to tell, looking at the floors and also the ceilings above all of these, that there are scorch marks, there are burn marks from where these fires have been. And you can tell that they seem to be very fixed in the locations that you would expect. In other words, there is a dark black spot over each one of these pieces, and a dark black spot on the floor beneath each one of them, where the metal has been kind of heated and burned a little. But there are not those marks on any of the other squares. So in other words, you get the feeling that the fire probably doesn't move much, if at all. It seems to have been
Gotcha.
burning in these places for a very long time.
Gotcha. Also, one thing I've noticed is that the only pieces that are missing is a pawn and a king.
There's also 3 horses.
There are
Three
three,
knights,
there are
so
3 horses. I didn't notice.
3 knights. This is an abnormal chess game.
The grid is also the wrong size. It's 7x6. Those of you familiar with the game would know that this is definitely not like a legal set.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a way that we could possibly.
How do they move, you reckon?
Yeah, like, is there a control, any sort of buttons or anything on the...
Maybe it's verbal?
You can give me an investigation check. There's nothing.
Do I need to make a new investigation check, or?
Yeah, since you're looking for a different thing. There's nothing immediately obvious, but you can start kind of looking around if you want.
I'll do 1 too.
20, 28.
Oh wait, that's 2. Never mind.
You can throw one on there if you want, if you're trained.
Sure. Yeah.
I really want to see if Roll20 can do secret rolls, because I feel like they're a lot of fun, and they would give me a reason to let everybody roll instead of just doing the 2 or whatever. But anyway, we'll mess with it later. All of you looking around are able to deduce pretty thoroughly that there are no like control mechanisms, there are no buttons or anything hidden anywhere, except you do see that the inside of the crown that was on the pedestal seems to have jewels inlaid onto the inside of it on each of the like little what are the little triangle parts of a crown called? I don't even know. Whatever
The spork.
the spork part. Sure, we'll
No.
go with that.
I think they're called tines. I'm not sure.
Tines.
Anyway,
Tines,
but that's
right.
but that's in forks.
It definitely gives off a bit of a hum. It seems that the crown is probably magical, and you can see
Oh.
that each of those sapphires inlaid on the inside of the crown is in the shape of a chess king.
Okay, shall I identify this and see what it does?
Can I just put it on?
Sure. Put it on your head. It's a little cold to the touch. It feels like metal.
You know what it does now?
Actually, even immediately when you put it on, you would notice that there is a little bit of a radius around you where the lightning in the metal floor seems to kind of peel away from you. It seems that it provides some sort of just a little bubble that kind of rejects the electricity.
Oh, you're gonna move across.
Can I step here?
You can. And as your foot lands, you are relieved to find that you do not get zapped. The plate is a little warm to the touch, but not even very much of that. And when you do, you also find that as soon as you step there, the fiery pawn in front of you snuffs out in a puff of black smoke.
Oh, I didn't even have to touch it.
Didn't even have to
Oh.
touch it. It seemed to happen as soon as you stepped on that square.
Oh,
You're a king in this case. Okay.
I kind of drew like probably one of the best paths you can use to get through it, but I deleted it.
Do anything else move after he steps on?
The pawn kind of puffs out in a puff of smoke, but nothing else changes.
Maybe step forward onto its spot.
I'm just making sure that nothing could come over and kill me.
All right, you step forward, and nothing happens.
Should probably now move here.
No, because the pawn could get me.
Yeah, pawns can eat backwards.
Is anybody...
Pawns cannot go backwards unless.
They can't, but we don't know what direction anything is facing.
True. I guess the best place to be would be here then.
Is anybody
No.
trained in chess or like have any sort of gaming proficiency or a background in it?
I now have expertise in it.
Did you channel divinity?
Yes, now.
All right.
Come on, I
Would
like
you like
chess.
me to-
Please give me a chance.
Would you like me to? I haven't used this all day. I've been wasting it.
So I can't go here because then the rook would get me because
Oh, I guess if you instantly killed it, it would. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I forgot that you could
I-
instantly kill things.
I can't go here because of the queen.
You can't go here because of the knight.
Yeah.
The only place you could go is here, or here if the pawn does not go backwards, which they don't do unless they've been across the board.
Yeah, I'll save it for later. But it's on the table. I can immediately become a chess grandmaster. That memory is somewhere in the back.
God, it's such a bizarre class feature, and I really like it.
Well, for 10 minutes, you see, most chess games don't last. They last way longer than that. At least the professional ones.
We gotta play some speed chess.
I'm gonna make an assumption about this. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna follow Kingdom's suggestion.
All right, you kind of take a deep breath and hope that your assumption is correct. And you find that this pawn snuffs out, and this knight snuffs out, and that is all that happens.
Okay.
So I think that they're moving towards us.
hmm Like this is their side of the board and this is ours.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you might be able to move upwards to get that knight and pawn. Well, no, you can't.
And,
If you do that,
bishop.
it will get the bishop. But if you go diagonal one, you should be safe.
So,
This is not how to solve the puzzle, but I'm guessing that the two different solutions to this are one to get through safe and one to destroy every piece besides the queen and get treasure.
hmm
That's what
Yeah.
I'm.
In case that hasn't already been discussed, I was away there for a second.
And then head up this direction and get rid of those guys. And then you could probably want to step here so you're not in its attack radius. If you're careful, you might be able to move here. I don't know. Obviously, you have to move without getting too close to the knight until you're here. Otherwise, the queen will be able to get you. So you might need to move like that also works. Getting those guys first.
2, 3, 4. Okay, yes, that is safe.
I figured keeping the queen kind of boxed in a little was probably safer. Probably doesn't make a huge difference, but
Oh wait, there's a bishop over there. Oh, yeah, we couldn't have done that.
Oh, what did it? Oh, yeah. I guess you probably want to do this next then.
Yeah, that looks right.
Yep. Yeah. And then you're gonna wanna.
Here's the pickle.
Well, you probably gonna want to move.
Oh wait,
here,
I guess if you just
and then. Yeah, that works.
All right. As the night is extinguished, you watch as the queen, too, goes up in a puff of black smoke, leaving behind only the weird metal thing that was in the middle of her, which then collapses onto the floor and kind of rattles like a steel keg or an oil can or something like that. And it begins to just kind of roll across the floor. Lands with a heavy thump. Whatever this thing is, it must be quite heavy. It appears to be kind of just a metal barrel-shaped sort of deal. You see a couple of bands around it. About the size of like a small backpack, I guess.
Gotcha. Does the floor still look electrified?
It does.
I'll run over here and I'll just kind of roll it.
All right, yeah. You do find that it is very, very, very heavy. But you are able to roll it over to the edge and kind of get it tucked safely into a corner somewhere.
I'm pretty strong.
Yeah, you are. Shit,
it's
what
got
is
those
your...
ogre power, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh wait, no, Toto wears this.
Oh, no, has this.
Got
I have 13 though.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, you're definitely able to roll it. Even with your tiny stature, you're pretty strong, and you know how to use leverage, so you kind of just, you barrel roll it.
With Gale's crown on, can we just step on the squares around him?
Do you want to try it?
Like,
Just give him the crown.
Gale's currently wearing the crown that we saw on the pedestal.
Oh,
It's
okay.
why you can. It's why you can walk in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
I
guys
get it. Okay,
and-
I missed that
here
step.
and here.
Yeah. So it seems to turn off the electricity and the small ranges around them.
Yeah, it's actually very
Gotcha.
obvious to the rest of you guys as you watch him do it. It seems to just make sort of a bubble around him where the electricity is kind of peeled back away from him. And sure
Around
enough,
him
Nordo, when you step on, as long as you stay close to him, you seem to be protected.
Alright, I'll slowly ferry everyone over.
All right, you go back and forth a few times, careful not to leave the chicken and the feed alone at any point. Until eventually everybody is ferried across.
Who's the chicken and who's the feet in this analogy? Is it Shu? And then we sit here and have a picnic until Moat gets back.
Better not be calling Shu a chicken.
Might as well identify this weird barrel.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Sure.
All right, you take a break on the other side as Mode is getting over a little case of wooziness and plot sickness. He needs to vomit. The pressure is just getting to him. And you're able to identify this.
We get to keep the crown too, right?
It doesn't seem to like disappear or anything.
Oh, hey Gale, look. It's a crown just for you. It's got kings on it.
I like it.
It suits you. Wick Forge, delightful.
Doesn't mean I can stop making items for Basu.
No,
The
it
most
means we can
precious
do it.
treasure imaginable.
It actually means we can do it anywhere we go.
Oh no.
You'll never
As we're
destroy it
walking through a
immediately.
dungeon, like actually, I go right before Gale on initiative. I'm going to use my hero point to ask him to forge something for me.
I hear that Cass is the chicken and Philo is the fox.
Yeah, I think Vasu is the chicken and Gale is the feed in this analogy. Because as soon as
Now you're
Gale gets
calling me a
alone with
chicken.
Vasu,
You better not leave me on the same side of the river with you. We're gonna have trouble. I mean, chicken.
we understand that still makes you the chicken in the analogy, right? It just makes me the feed.
Shut up.
Just kidding. I don't know the word analogy.
It's the Orcus word for analogy. Same meaning. Similar story. I don't know.
Well,
Ace is better at making those.
Better make
Oh
one
yeah.
up.
Hunga Bunga example picture? Example word?
Yeah. Example word. Example story.
What is the
Yeah,
word?
example story.
What is the
Example
origin?
Analogy.
Orcish word for analogy. Butt studies. Unga bunga butt studies. Gazanal OG.
Oh, I was just gonna go unga bunga this and that. I don't know.
Just that works. Okay, this thing can make non-magical items.
Yeah, it's like a wizard's lesser conjuration, sort of minor conjuration.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of like it's like a weaker kind of fabricate sort of thing.
More like creation, I guess. Because like it doesn't take any materials; it just
Well,
makes.
creation sucks, so.
Yeah, creation sucks. These are like it's creation but permanent.
I don't know why creation is even the way it is. Like, why bother?
Because people like me will make use of it. Just
But-
you wait.
But fabricate is so much better. I don't understand.
I'd like to think that I enjoy taking shitty spells and making them worth something. I have no idea what you would do with creation.
Right?
I do. I just need poison. That's
You use it
plant-based.
to create stuff that you then use fabricate on.
Yeah, but then it disappears.
Oh right.
It also instantly fails if you use
Yeah,
it
that's
as
it.
a material component.
Although technically fabricate, it's not the material component. I think.
No,
Pretty sure.
the creation. When you create something to use as a material component, that fails immediately.
Well, right, but the material component of fabricate isn't the raw materials. It's,
Yeah. It's just it might actually be.
But either way, it's still fucking worthless because once
Yeah.
it's fabricated, it's still just gonna disappear.
When it's created, yeah, it eventually disappears. But like, if you upcast it, it lasts like a while. Depends.
so, what is the purpose of it to just like make items and sell fake things to people?
No, because it's like clearly fake or something.
It also
I mean,
I mean,
if you use the creation spell to like make adamantine, it's really adamantine. It's just gonna
It
go
lasts
away
a
after
few
a while.
minutes.
Right.
like it
That's
only lasts a
literally
minute,
1 minute.
and even if you upcast it, it only changes the size that you can make, not
Yeah.
the
Right.
duration of it.
Right.
So instead of 4, you can make a barrel, but like it still only lasts 1 minute.
So what you do is you make something and you donate it for tax purposes. And then after it's gone, they just think someone stole it.
So it depends on what you make, because each item has like a set number of time it exists.
Yeah, like
You
I'm
make carrots.
I'm
Lots of
sure
carrots.
there's a use case in there somewhere. But
Dude, I'm gonna use it to kill a dragon. I just need to find poison.
You just need the dragon to sit in one place for 1 minute.
I just need a barrel, and I need to find Black Lotus. Where can I get Black Lotus, Feck?
what does Black Lotus do?
A very poisonous plant.
Oh, is it a real world plant?
Black Lotus is a D&D plant. It's
Gotcha.
actually in the Gathering.
Oh, yeah, I know in Magic the Gathering it's like you tap it for 3 mana. It's fucking nuts.
In older D&D games, it's like one of the most expensive poisons you could get.
Gotcha.
But I don't know if it's in 5e because I don't know if it's anywhere. I haven't looked at the poisons page. I just want like you don't really use the same poisons. You like, hey, what poisons have you got?
I'll take a look and see if it exists in this world. It probably does.
I guess you could use it to like make gasoline and then just like drive a car and then it'll just like it'll just break down and then it won't even matter
That's
because you
fair.
consumed it.
But then-
yeah, gasoline.
But then, like, for the same spell level, well, I guess the same spell level would be like Windwalk. I guess that's comparable. That's reasonable.
That's the only I can think of is something that you're just like you're gonna use up in a non-magical way. Like
So, like, it's not that it doesn't have use. Like, you could make a bridge to cross a river of lava. Like, there are things that you can use it for, but for that spell level, you can just do it in so many better ways. Anyway, Gale, looking down the stairs, you can see it goes down 25, maybe 30 feet, and then there's blue carpet at the bottom of a wooden staircase. It's up to you if you actually want to, like, poke your head all the way into the
Oh
room.
my god, was that moat just logging in as we spoke? It was.
I will.
Hey.
I'm gonna go and complete Mud's dungeon before he gets settled in.
All right.
I do
Take
have.
the phoenix for myself.
I deserve it.
I do have a thing that I was like actually waiting on mode for, though, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I mean, Gale can keep going if he wants to, but
Yeah, go for it.
If Moat's actually here. Are you like here, or did you just log in and you're still setting up?
I'm still getting into Roll20, but I'm here on Discord.
Okay. I'll give you a second.
I'll start explaining the room, but we'll jump back and let you do your talk before we
Yeah.
actually commit to anything.
Appropriately, Nordo kind of like holds Moat back for a second, so it would make sense that everyone keeps going, and then Nordo's like, "Hold up, Moat."
As you step down, Gale at the helm, you find that this old blue carpet gives way pretty quickly to decay. It seems that it is tattered and worn. It's been exposed to light and heat and the elements, and it becomes very clear why. Because you start to hear the sound of rushing wind and cracking lightning and rumbling earth and fire, and you begin to see natural light that is pouring into the room. And as you kind of come down low enough, you can see that the entire back hall of this large circular den is crumbled and eroded and destroyed, and you can see the elemental limbo beyond it. Looking up, you can kind of see the underside of the island where the rest of the temple has been set. But what survives of the room it looks like a wizard's study. All across this blue carpet is a large arcane sigil. You can see that hanging from the center of the 30-foot tall ceiling, there is a beautiful orrery, several brass and copper and other various metal planets, and stars, and other celestial bodies that have been set to spin in motion. You can see that some of them even have holes in them with candles flickering inside to project shadows across the walls, or lights across the walls. And then all across the walls of the circular room are towering bookshelves that go up all 30 feet, all of which are filled to the brim with expensive and ornate-looking books and scrolls and papers and maps. Notably, the only sign of a mural is one that is floating in the void, partially destroyed at the backside, or where the backside of the room would have been. You can see that there is kind of a half-cracked picture of what appears to be a very stereotypical wizard or witch. It's got the big hat with a wide brim, the cone shape, heavy robes, a pair of eyes kind of peeking out from under. It looks very much like the stereotypical D&D wizard. But even that is cracked in half. It's missing about a third of its stone, which has just been scattered and is suspended in place in the elemental limbo around the room. And there is no sign of another one beyond that. But you do see faint trails of energy that are pouring out of the books. But before that happens, we're going to pause and jump back to Nordo and Mo.
Okay. As we finish up our 10-minute snack and identify break, and the group kind of starts heading down those stairs to check out that room, Nordo just kind of puts a hand on Moat's shoulder and say, "Hold up a second before we go any further."
Yeah, what's up?
I feel like I just need to make sure that you understand something, because it's almost to the bottom of this place, it seems like, according to what that fellow back there said. And when we get there, I don't know what's going to be waiting for us. And hopefully Sammy was right, and all we got to do is bring these trials to an end to bring back the Phoenix. And maybe that's all there will be to it, and we can just walk out of this place and be done. But to be real clear here, if this ordeal that we're walking into ends with you having to give up your own life or anybody else's, if you do that, Mo, I'm done. I'm out. I'll have no part in it.
I understand. I
don't know that you do understand, so let me be real clear. I don't know what lessons you got out of this place so far, but here's what I've learned. Samson's mission failed because he tried to do it all alone without his allies. Paramenos failed because he didn't have the Tarask. Marja failed because she couldn't find the Tarask. The way I see it, this mission don't work without the Tarask's help. Phoenix or not, you can't take on the Ryujin and the Raiju without the Tarask. And maybe you won't listen to your friend, but I am the blood of the Tarask, and you will listen to me. We do this together, both of us, alive, or I walk. You need the Trask's help. I have its heart. I have its blood. You keep saying to everybody, the druids and everybody in this temple, that I'm the Trask. Well, the Phoenix can rot in hell for all the Trask cares if bringing it back means you have to die.
I don't think it's gonna come to that, but I wouldn't. Look, I wouldn't ask you to stand by my side through that. Wouldn't ask any of you to stand by my side through that. But I really don't think it's gonna come to that.
I hope it doesn't. The way it seems like it's pointing is it isn't gonna. But I need it to be clear, because when I set out on this mission from the monastery, they sent me to. I had one job. It was to protect you. And I intend to do it, even if that means protecting you from yourself or from this place or from the very mission they sent me on.
Stubborn as a Tarask, just like I suspected. Look, I understand you're worried for whatever's next, and for me, and I can't tell you how much that means to me. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? One step at a time. And like I said, I'm not gonna ask. This kind of puts his hand to his tabard. This is my oath, not any of yours. And I'm not gonna ask any of you to stand by my side while I see it through.
I hope it just doesn't come to that. I think you've missed the point of this place and the lessons it's tried to teach if you're ready to throw your life away for this mission.
I'll have to check the VODs.
He didn't much. There was just some grumpy old turtle gardener, and that was about it. Let's just keep going, I guess. I just keep waiting for the floor to fall out of this place, the other shoe to drop, and all this to be pulled out from under us. But I don't know. Maybe Sammy's right. Maybe it's all just a couple more trials like this, and it'll be over. It's all been for nothing, but just needed to say my piece.
No, I appreciate you being willing to, be honest with me, and even come as far as you have with me. You're my brother, and I'm glad to have you here. But I'm not gonna make you. I don't know. I'm not gonna make you sell your humanity, even if I have to sell mine.
All right, then.
As you guys are getting ready to head down, Volna does come up to you, Moat, and says, listen, I know that I don't know you as well as some of them do. I don't have any fancy blood or... I mean, hell, just a few hours ago I was trying to destroy this place. What I'm trying to say is I know that my investment here might not be as heavy as yours, but I do still care about you. You were a good student and you have a lot of potential, and just be careful, okay?
I'm always careful.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I know how you always are. I'm gonna go tell the others that it's happening soon and try to make sure that they don't do anything stupid, alright? But,
Okay.
I'll meet you up there. Be safe.
Side check.
Sure, go for it.
If I can, please. Thank you.
Quinn, he's being fucky now.
Oh, no.
Also,
Welcome.
I heard fisherman.
You get the sense that she she is holding back a few feelings for Moat. Is the most pressing thing that you get from that is that she looks at him a little funny. She's probably got
She's
some
in
repressed
love.
feeling. There might be some of that.
Okay.
Apart from that, you don't get sense of like any malice or deception or anything like that. But she is at least restraining herself because she thinks it would be inappropriate.
Could I
to bring
also
up
insight?
Sure, go for it. Kitty.
Sorry, I was running up the stairs and she's following me.
I was curious how there was like how those two noises were happening at the same
So
time.
she chases me up the stairs the entire time. She goes like, "Brrr," and she just like zooms up the stairs. It's like her
Okay.
zoom noise.
That makes sense.
It also sounds like a Tom and Jerry. Like,
The lowest I can
sound
roll is a
effect.
21.
21. You get the same sort of deal. She's definitely holding back some emotion. She's a little worried about Moat. She knows that Moat can be a little hot-headed. But at the same time, you can tell that she's a little worried that, like, left without supervision, the other druids might do something silly, so she wants to go make sure that nothing weird happens up there.
Oh, thanks for that, Valna. And look, once this is all done, we'll all have a big hearty laugh on it on the other side.
Right. I'm sure. You will still be you, right? Like, you're not gonna turn into a bird or anything crazy like that, huh?
I don't know, that would be kind of dope, though.
I was
Bird
gonna say, is that a
party.
bad thing? You got a problem with birds?
No, no, of course no. I'm all right. Just be safe. I'll go keep the rest of them in line if I can. But yeah, you guys head on down, and then you see what you see. You have plenty of time to kind of position yourself however you like within here. You can tell that bits of ectoplasm are pulling themselves, seeping from the bookshelf, and starting to form what looks like kind of a humanoid figure in the center of the room. Long robes, a big witch's hat, an old woman, by the looks of it, human, with just this big, like, wonky-toothed grin. They're pointing in all sorts of terrible ways. Her nose is crooked. She looks crazy. But she's just got this smile that she can't seem to turn off, even when her eyes don't match. And you can also tell that some of the books are pulling themselves free of the shelves and starting to flap around like birds in sort of a spinning, spiraling storm of paper around the room. And that'll be where we pick up initiative.
Sorry, roll 20 is still really fucky.
Yeah, I saw it's doing some weird stuff.
Just real quick, I think you've already mentioned this, but looking out this giant hole in this temple, is there anything? Is it just a vast empty space beyond, and more of like the swirling limbo stuff, or is there like more structure that is across the way or something?
Looking around, you see little bits of blown out stone, some foundational pieces, like a half of a column here and there. But you don't see like a whole nother room or another castle or anything like that.
Okay.
You just see the underside of the island where this castle was built on. And you can see that there is a little bit of a tower that goes upwards, presumably the rooms that you've been through.
Gotcha.
But that is it, nothing below and nothing elsewhere.
Cool. Not like there was a hallway here that was destroyed and the rest of the dungeons over there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Cool.
No, is roll 20 just being extremely slow?
It might be. I do notice that like the main
'Cause
site
it says
is not loading.
setting auto initiative.
Yeah, and it's like stuck there.
Yeah, I left the browser to restart my computer, and it's been a white screen ever since.
Yeah, I know that Roll20 has been extremely unstable for like 2 weeks now. For what it's worth, we've been looking into alternatives. There's like Foundry and Astral Tabletop. There are alternatives to Roll20, and a lot of them are actually pretty good. It'd be a bit of a hassle to migrate everything over in the middle of a campaign, but if like Roll20 continues to shit itself or shit the bed for the next 3
it's
weeks,
been getting worse. I don't know. They should have just kept it the way it was. What
Yeah.
did they do?
well, I mean, there's also a lot of features that people have been waiting for 2 years, but it seems like
That no one uses
I would be using them if they would do them.
if they did it.
But anyway, as they've been working on the site, they seem to have run into a lot of bugs and instability lately, and I'll keep an eye on it. If it becomes so annoying that it's like impeding our ability to play the game, we might jump over at least temporarily and play on Foundry or something.
D&D is just so popular now that everyone's playing it on roll 20, and it's just making it slow.
For real though,
Oh.
there has been like a crazy explosion.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm gonna reboot the sandbox and see if that helps.
A black screen finally. It says roll20 loading, randomizing dice rolls.
No.
I was gonna say, weirdly, my Roll20, which has been garbage for like a month, is like working better today than it has been.
Maybe it's per like region.
Yeah, mine's doing okay, and so is my Discord today so far. And I probably just cursed myself by saying that out loud. But
Why
Yeah,
would you
huge
do that?
mistake.
You just became a robot. No, I'm kidding. You didn't become a robot. You're fine.
Oh, it is slowly loading the API sandbox. Worst case scenario, we can always just roll initiative the old-fashioned way,
Oh.
like peasants.
Oh,
Disgusting.
I actually have dice that now. So yeah, I'm willing to do that.
I mean, we can do like normal rolls. It just seems like the API is being real slow. But if you want to roll a physical die, I'd be okay with that.
I'll be actually using it. This is the RV die. You got me.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What is this? 14 plus 2.
I'm gonna give this like 2 or 3 minutes to try to load, and if it fucks up, then we'll do it the old-fashioned way.
I don't know if I've memorized my entire prepared spells.
Hopefully, character sheets and stuff are loading. Like,
Yeah, but usually
Yeah.
I have to see, do I have this prepared today? Ah, it's not prepared right now.
Yeah, my sheet's still up, and like it's letting me roll faster than it has been. But yeah, the initiative thing.
Yeah,
is...
no, I'm just fucking stuck in the roll20 loading special
oh
effects
boy.
engine.
So the API console finally loaded and says there's an error communicating with the Quantum Roll server, which is their backend. So they're definitely having some server issues. Let me give it a quick refresh, see if that starts it, and if not, we'll just do this the old-fashioned way. I feel like we picked a. I mean, it's driving me crazy, of course, but I feel like we picked a very convenient time to like take a couple weeks off on IDT. Although I guess we were doing tabletop sim anyway, but it's good that we've gotten to avoid all this mess.
We would be jumping back and forth between the two.
Yeah, and it really has just been awful for like a week and a half.
It was good on Monday.
Yeah, we've been doing okay on the Thursday game.
Yeah,
too.
so the Monday game is kind of unique though, because there's nothing but tokens and maps. Like I'm not tracking jack shit in there. There's no character sheets. There's no like, we're not using any macros. There's one player actually using Roll20 and me moving a bunch of tokens around on maps.
Okay, they did say 8 minutes ago on Twitter that there are some server difficulties that they're looking into. I'm gonna go ahead and just roll this all in manually and
look into them faster. Like, come on.
if you want, go and roll initiative the old-fashioned way.
Holy shit! What a time to be alive!
Right?
Rolling
I haven't
initiative.
done this in ages.
I literally
This is
don't know
the
where it is in my
first
sheet.
time-
I'm like trying to figure out what tab it's under.
This is the first time I've ever rolled
Oh my
dice
god,
in a
I have
game.
to select a token too. This is just too much.
Are we living in the Stone Ages?
Oh, I have to pick a token. That's why I
Ugh.
couldn't figure out how to
Such a
roll
hassle.
initiative.
I did all of that for a 7.
Yeah, but rolling a 19 though, it's his best roll ever.
Heck, it's 14 plus 2.
Boy, Elise's character sheet like won't even open.
Okay, but for real, how do I roll initiative?
Boy.
Which tab is it on?
It's in the
on the
first
first
one.
one.
Core stats. It's right. It's like
Oh,
right
I
in the
see it, I
middle.
see it, I
Right
see
below
it.
the health.
Yeah.
you.
Current and max health.
Oh hey, I think maybe it's working, but I'm gonna just finish doing it this way because we started it this way, and we'll see if it re-rolls at the end of it.
Quick question: in combat the other day, or last week, did you guys use any of my spells?
We used one hunter's mark.
100.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
does that mean that 100?
I already marked it
still up? Is it still up?
It is.
It lasts an hour.
Yeah, it would be. You guys spent like 20 or 30
No,
minutes.
he lost concentration on it in the big lava
Oh,
robot
that's
fight.
right. Yeah, there was a big flamethrower. You lost it. But it has already been marked off. You don't need to mark anything else off.
Cool. Mostly just wanted to know if I still had it up so I could save mana. But thanks.
I re-rolled. Things are loading. Things are actually loading now.
I say it looks like the initiative thing rebooted too. So
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think my physical dice of 14.
Yes, that's fine. Let's see. What is your modifier?
Plus 2.
Is that 14 and already have the +2 in it?
No, 16 then with
Okay.
plus 2.
16 for Nomad, and it was a 19 for Gale, I think. 17 for Gale.
17.
Please, I need access to my sheets. All my spells are there. I don't know
Right.
what's prepared.
I'm still waiting for yours to load too, so I can throw initiative on it. Actually, can't I do like roll?
Yeah, you have to hack it. You have to hack my sheet.
I'm trying to remember what the command is. I think it's like exclamation tracker. What was that?
Exclamation init. Ooh. Ooh, I think I got my sheet now. I think it's loaded.
There we go. We did it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
What do we do if we rolled our initiative and we don't like what we got?
I feel like Nomad would actually say hacker voice. I am in.
Probably.
Hacker voice. I am inside.
Oh,
So
Yep.
Friska's been
Don't like
dragging me
that.
through all the Marvel movies, and we finally got to Infinity War, which has Nomad in it, for those who haven't seen. And it was very entertaining to see what Nomad would look like in high definition.
Nomad is a zealot. Nomad, if
It
you
makes
would you
worship
guys
Nomad.
mind rewatching those Marvel movies? Because I'm very far behind on them too.
Oh, very happy. Fun. When you get your computer, we can like watch the movies.
Yeah.
again. We'll stream it.
And I can stream stuff and talk
Fuck
to people
yeah.
in Discord at the same time.
After the whole Marvel thing is done, I want to ask Fact like what his favorite things are. See how it's going. I
think
know
the
he
last
really
one I
digs.
watched was
You
like
should give him a survey. Just have him fill out a
Yeah.
survey about
Just
it.
a survey, like yeah. So who's your favorite hero? It's got to be Iron Man, definitely. I know it's not like it's, who doesn't like Tony Stark. I'm in. For serious though, I'm in the initiative, and where is Baba Yaga? Where is this lady?
Does she seem hostile?
Before going in here, can I give myself 1 hour of flying speed? Hello?
Did we lose Peck?
Okay, I'm sorry. Hang on a second.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, I'm back. What I miss?
Oh, I was just asking, can I, before we go down the stairs, because it makes sense, give myself a 1 hour flying speed.
Yep, can do. And with that, we will jump in. The first thing that you see is that several of these books fly off the shelves and begin to batter into all of you. Reveal this.
Actually, instead of doing the 1 hour fly speed, I forgot. I have two more charges of this item. I'll give myself a 60-foot fly speed by activating the cloak. It lasts 10 minutes.
Hell yeah. The next thing that you see is this ectoplasm finally forms this humanoid shape, which then, at the top of the round,
Oh my god, everything's freezing.
splits into three.
Oh, that's not very nice. The matted death.
And Ace, you are the first to react.
All right. Does any of this seem like an illusion?
Actually, I'm really glad you asked because I nearly forgot to do a thing. At the start of your turn, you see something that is very obviously an illusion. And it is a shimmering golden image of yourself that seems to pull itself free from your body. Almost like it kind of rises up out of your chest until it takes the space next to you. And then it runs over to Gale and it starts swinging on the book right next to Gale.
Starts to swing it, as you say.
It does. Apart from that, nothing else appears illusory here.
Okay, so none of the Madden ladies.
Yeah, it's bizarre. You can see all three of them at the same time, and all of them are kind of like wavering in and out, like they are either kind of like that projection that you saw inside of the security tower or something like that. But that is what you really see. It is not an illusion that you're seeing. You're actually seeing them kind of flicker in and out of existence in all three locations.
Right.
Also, kind of touching on that same question, and maybe I should wait to ask this on my turn, but I have detect magic up all the time. Does it look like they have a magical effect on them?
Oh my god.
I mean, they probably have other ones aside from
Everything.
that. But...
Yeah, everything here has a ton of magic, but you might get some useful info from the school. There is some conjuration and abjuration just all over the room and the building and the structure itself. Necromancy over all of the books and all three of the wizard-looking ladies. A little bit of divination on all of you guys. including yourself. And I think that's it.
Okay, so I have 2 follow-up questions before I do anything. First off, does it seem like any of my allies noticed the golden me?
You have a good passive insight, right? What is your insight?
My passive insight is insane. My passive insight's like 23.
Nobody else seems to notice yours, but you do notice that almost everybody else is kind of looking down at their chest suddenly, like something similar is going to happen to all of them. It's all like you're each experiencing a vision of your own.
Gotcha.
My
Does
sheet isn't loading.
I'll pray for you.
Thank you. Pray
Does
for Nomad.
does my golden self seem to be hostile other than just to these books?
Seems to be hostile to that book. It runs over next to Gale, it looks down at Gale and kind of gets in formation at Gale's side, and then it attacks the book. Seemingly to no avail, the weapon goes straight through it.
Suspicious. All right. Well, I guess I'm just gonna do my normal thing. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and throw a hunter's mark on this Claudia, the one it looks like to be the original one,
All right, excellent.
and then I guess I'll just shoot her, as I want to do. Is she kind of a humanoid?
She does.
What?
As the arrow flies over with elven accuracy, it is a hit for 31 points of damage.
Oh, that was almost a crit on that 30 down there.
Uh, 24 sinks in for another 17 points of damage. And 30 follows up for 19.
She doesn't seem to be resistant to the damage or anything.
It seems that all 3 arrows sink in, and you watch as blood kind of flies out of the backside of the robe and begins to kind of trickle down, staining the blue cloak. Looks like they all 3 hit.
Cool. That's my turn.
All right, that'll bring us to a legendary action of some sort. Who wants to use it? Let's start with these guys. Let's do Moat. You're important to stop here. Moat, you watch as one of these books suddenly begins to like rattle its pages very rapidly. It starts to look agitated, and then it flies straight at you. I need a charisma saving throw as this thing is absorbed into your chest. It just flies straight into your chest.
Oh God.
Ooh, delightful. All
Oh my God, your minimum is 17.
Right.
Right, it's fucking nuts. Cool. That's all that happens. You're up. And at the start of your turn, you watch as 2 shapes emerge from your chest. One of which is kind of a golden image of yourself that begins to grab one of these books and cast a spell from it, it looks like. The other which is a golden version of yourself that does the exact same thing. Two images of yourself kind of step out and begin to cast spells, reading from a spell book.
Are they like speaking?
They look like it for sure, but they don't make any noise.
Okay. Well, I'm a little bit surrounded by books, so let's see here.
Notably, these books are swirling around the entire room. They seem to be basically filling the entire room. You can attack them from anywhere.
Okay.
Kidding.
Sorry, I'm trying to read my axe here. Okay. I am going to take out Legacy, swing it in an arc around me, and spend a charge to cast Burning Hands just at like
Hell
the
yeah.
biggest chunk of books I can find.
Oh yeah, you wait until you can find an opportunity where a bunch of these things have all swarmed together in a cluster. And you unleash this Burning Hands, and you can tell that they are very vulnerable to AoEs. It seems effective on them. Give me a roll.
I'm assuming the weapon is casted at base level.
Yes. You do notice that with like remarkable speed, a lot of these books part around the fire, but even so, they seem to take double damage from it, which comes back out to 8 points of fire damage, which they're vulnerable to for another 8 points, 16 total.
Do they ignite?
Any flammable objects? Yeah, everything here is made of paper. Several of them light up in flames, and you can kind of see that as they like frantically flap around, they like accidentally start setting other books on fire too.
Uh-oh. All right, that was my first attack. For the second attack, I guess I'm gonna try to head down here to the Claudia by Vasu and attack her.
All right. You notice that a lot of these books kind of like idly try to swipe at you, but it doesn't seem that they're really effectively able to make an opportunity attack.
Actually, does the charge on my axe still give me a second attack, or because I cast Burning Hands, that's it?
Does it say it like replaces an attack, or does it let you cast the spell?
Let me go double check. I think it says it lets me cast the spell, so I think I'm done.
Yeah, that would be your whole action then.
Instead of making the attack, cast Burning Hands.
Okay. Instead of making the attack cast running, then yeah, you get another attack.
Cool. I will try to attack this Claudia in front of me.
25 is good for 15 points of slashing and fire damage.
Cool. That is... Actually, I'll use my bonus action to try and knock her prone.
All right. Excellent.
Bash my shield into her. Oh, that's a terrible roll.
Well, I have good news. She is knocked prone.
Cool. That is it.
All right. At the end of your turn, this Claudia is going to throw a firebolt at Nomad.
Disadvantage.
Oh shit! Really?
The windy swirls.
Fuck.
18 misses.
18 misses. All right. That brings us to Gale. Gale, at the start of your turn, you see a dark, shadowy version of yourself step forward and begin chanting a ritual spell.
Sorry, no, that is not disadvantage. It's ranged weapon attacks, not ranged spell attacks.
Oh,
So that
excellent.
hits
31
for
hits
15.
for 15 points of fire damage, and you notice that surrounding you, there is a prism of colorful shapes and arcane glyphs that hovers in place.
Ooh, so
Can
pretty.
can I identify that?
Sure, you can use your action.
Is it Arcana? Oh, damn it! Connection timed out on my sheet.
Oh, no. Here, I'll go and...
There, I'll do it. It's a plus 15. I'll just roll it.
Gotcha.
25.
25. You don't It's actually a little bizarre to you. You have a lot of arcane knowledge. You're very, very good at modern arcanistry? Arcanics? Whatever. Arcanics is probably what it's called. A lot of these... Arcana? I guess. That sounds silly. But it is clearly what it is. You a lot of these symbols make sense to you. You can tell that one of them is like, oh, this is a binding point. This is a transfer point. This is like a NOT gate. This is a logic circuit. But it's all very old notation that you've like probably never seen before, if you've seen it at all. However, with the 25, you're still able to deduce that this is its primary role is to define an area. You get the feeling that this is going to be the vertex of an area of something.
What's a vertex?
Like the edge of a... So like a box has 4 corners, right? Each of those is a vertex.
Okay, cool. Each corner. Sure.
Yeah. It's the corner of a shape, probably.
It's the only one I see.
Part of a cone.
It's the only thing I can see currently.
No, you can see around it. You can just see that these are like lingering.
No, I
in
mean
the
like
space
there
around.
are more of them.
Oh, just these shapes around you. You don't see any others right now.
Okay. That's me.
All right, that brings us to Gale.
All right, I'm gonna shoot myself.
Are you shooting your real self or the shadowy self?
Shadowy visage.
Okay, excellent. Fire away.
Persona.
All right, 22 blasts into the backside of your shadowy self. And you watch as it just kind of dissipates in a puff of black smoke that quickly disappears.
And I will then, with my second attack, I will shoot the God, I just can't get a good bonus on anybody. So I guess I'll just shoot the Claudia next to me.
You have advantage from pack tactics, I think? Oh, wait, there's nobody next to her. Just kidding. 19 would hit, but she's going to cast Shield.
Quick question: does the golden visage of my ace give impact tactics by any reason?
It doesn't seem to.
That's just shitty. And without Toto, I don't actually have any bonus action, so I think that is it for me.
All right, at the end of your turn, this Claudia is going to throw another firebolt, this time at Vasu. For a 30? I hope a 30 hits Vasu. But he might have also gone AFK.
It does.
Oh, he's...
It's me, but...
Didn't we roll that he could catch cantrips?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm looking up.
Yeah, we did rule it that way.
Elemental cantrip specifically.
Yeah.
This is an elemental cantrip.
It's an elemental cantrip.
We did Firebolt is explicitly on the list of things that I can deflect.
Then yeah.
Let's see. When you do so, you can reduce the damage from the attack by 10 plus Dex plus monk level. Oh yeah, that
should be easy. Should be easy.
Yeah, like 10 plus my Dex is already making me take no damage from that.
Should
I don't
be
even
a
need to roll anything.
D10, unless yours is
1d10. Yeah, 1d10 plus Dex modifier plus monk level, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I've got. So d10 plus my monk, or even my Dex modifier. I'm not taking any damage from that, so I'm gonna huck it back at it.
All right. Give me an attack roll. Oh boy. She. Oh no, 18 just
different
misses.
damage.
18 actually just misses. She just kind of expects the bolt to fly back and kind of ducks under. You can see it kind of scorches the tip of her hat. She's like, oh! All right. That'll bring us to Nomad's turn. Nomad, at the start of your turn, you see a shadowy version of yourself kind of land, stamp the fruits down in place, kind of get squat and take a defensive posture, and just start punching a bunch of these books with its bare hands.
I would never do such a thing. Savage. Just go fly over to the center of the room. I open one of the books and they start reading through it. And I cast a spell through it on one of the witches. Again.
Alright, as you flip open the book, you find that it's all just gibberish. And the runes are like changing on them. The words are just like shifting into pictures. It's not even real letters a lot of the time. It almost looks like you're in a dream of some sort. Or looking at a Rorschach test, but made up of glyphs and symbols.
This is fascinating. And then I point at the witch who threw a firebolt at me. Ah, god damn it! I cannot cast it with my sheet. What's your proficiency right now?
I think you guys are at 5, and it goes up next level.
Okay, cool. This is a chromatic cascade, also doing fire damage to mimic a firebolt at the lady who shot a firebolt at me.
Hell yeah, fire away.
So that's a plus 10 for 24.
Woo!
Hit.
24 hits. Yeah, that'll land.
Or 3d10 fire damage for 20.
All right, 20
Five.
points of fire damage. You catch her just as she's like putting out the fire on her hat. You fire one straight at her chest, and there's just an eruption of flame.
I'm gonna continue perusing this book. It's like that's the end of my turn. But like I don't understand it. It's like a dream, but it is fascinating. Like, oh, this is a book I cannot read. It's not like a language I don't understand. It's utterly gibberish.
All right. At the end of your turn, the Yearning Death is going to use 2 legendary actions to villainize. Let's do Gale. Gale, you watch as one of these scrolls kind of rolls itself up into like a cone shape, almost like an arrowhead, and pierces straight at you into your chest. And I need a Charisma saving throw.
Joke's on you. Gale's already a villain.
And charismatic.
And charismatic as fuck. He's got a crown.
Should have picked Nordo. I would have murdered Nomad's ass quick.
Very easy. If you could reach me up here, yeah.
All
Kind
right.
of in the air.
You feel this horrible strain around the sides of your neck and the bottom of your jaw, and also at the base of your ankles for some reason, as this book pulls itself free, this time in a dark, shadowy form that everyone can see, as a Shadow Gale emerges from Gale.
Hey, you mentioned the shadow fight. You got what you wanted.
Additionally, in about that same place, Ace, you watch as the golden illusion of yourself turns around, its eyes go jet black, and then the whole thing turns into a shadowy version of you, which now everybody else can see.
This is bad news, everyone.
Yeah, I can hit pretty
Shadow
hard.
Ace will murder us all fast.
Yeah, that's worrisome to me.
Yeah, but those boats are just casting spells or something. They're fine.
Oh, that's about as good as it gets. Nice roll.
You see the panic in Nomad's face. Oh no, Ace is very good against aberrations.
And this one was created by a lady who's really fucking scared of outsiders.
Sure is.
I do feel like they're the opposite of us, though. Mine is just punching books.
Oh, Ace, I'm sorry. Give me a charisma saving throw. This yours might not have happened. I forgot there's a save involved.
Mortal fear. I fucked that up.
All right, give me a second. I have to run upstairs.
I believe in you.
Mortal fear.
While he's running upstairs,
I said like mortal feel.
What happens?
Shut up, ignore me.
His mana is low enough. He probably like babbles.
while he's running up there, several of
You
these
said charisma?
Yeah, charisma saving throw.
I mean, it's what I expected.
There we go. Perfect. All right. Everything happens just as I've described. And then 3 books try to bonk people throughout the room. First one's going to be on Norda. 28 for 26.
Oh yeah, that'll hit.
All right. And you just mark somewhere on yourself that you have disadvantage on the next spell saving throw that you make. Let's do one on Elise. Missing. And let's do one on Mo.
But I'm right here in the middle.
27 for 27.
I'll shield it.
Oh, fuck. You can shield up to 28? Fuck
I sure
me.
can.
Holy fuck. Alright. That is it for them. Okay. And that'll bring us to... Hello, Claudia. So first let's make a decision. The first thing that happens is you watch as this Claudia and this Claudia just poof and no longer exist.
Oh.
The next thing that happens is not that. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I did this out of order. The first thing that happens is that all 3 of them cast a cantrip, so they're going to be 3 firebolt. One of which is at disadvantage.
I'm right in the middle of the room. Come on.
I think so, actually. These are all 3 going to be on Nomad. The first one is at disadvantage. I'm sorry, both of these are because Gale's there too. So 2 of them at disadvantage and a regular one. 22 for 13.
22 hits.
28 for 9.
28 hits.
And a crit. Oh.
And a crit. 13, 9, and
11.
12? 11. Yeah,
That's
those up.
That should have been 3d10, not 1.
Oh, you're right. I have another 2 on top of that. Another 14.
Is it 13 plus 9 plus 14?
13, 9, 14 plus 11.
Plus 11.
Yep.
47 damage. Delightful.
Yeah, whole bunch of damage, and you do see more of these runes kind of form in place. Then these two pop out of existence. Then she begins to cast a spell.
Whenever
counterspell.
she pops out of existence, what happens to my hunter's mark?
You can tell that she is over here.
I would like to counterspell. That's what I've been saving my reaction for.
All right, give me a check.
14.
14, unfortunately, is not enough. There is an eruption of necrotic energy that ripples out throughout the room. You guys can feel this parched feeling in your throats and your chest. Your breathing becomes strained. I need a Constitution saving throw.
Five. Can't even close my sheet. It just says connection timed out.
Oh no. Elise fails and takes the full 28.
No, Elise.
This hits everyone in the room, including me.
This is everyone in the room, yep.
Does it hit her as well?
She does... wait, actually, let me double check. She would need to if she's gonna hit... Yeah, it'll hit her. She's fine with that. Yeah, it's fine. Alright, and then at the end of her turn, she becomes 3 once more. One of them's going to pop over here. She'll just go over to... We'll do one there, and we'll do one here. Actually, why would we voluntarily take disadvantage? Let's do one here and here.
What's half of 28?
14.
14.
14.
Does it seem like the one I damaged earlier got its like? Did they all seem like to be as healthy as the one that was originally left behind and brought the bones back?
When it collapsed back down to 1, you notice that the big old blood stain on the blue cloak of the one that you shot initially was gone. It was neither pierced nor bloody.
Am I hunter's marking all 3 of them?
It seems to be the case. She, as best as you can tell, is in all 3 of these locations at the same time. Anyway, that's the shade. Let's have some fun, shall we? Boy, Gale is gonna come right over here and attack Gale.
No, I was a monster.
It certainly seems to think so. 28 to hit for 30 points of force damage.
Wow, Gale. Shadow you hits like a brick.
Ace is just gonna turn right around and shoot at Nomad.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
Once again.
Betrayal.
26 for 44.
For 44?
Jesus.
There's the damage I've been missing for so
Look
long.
at all those 5s.
That is all of the shades. Vasu is up.
Oh boy.
At the start of your turn, you see a golden version of yourself. Draw out your weapon and just starts hacking through these swords, or these books.
Yeah, attaboy.
Are they actually doing damage to the books, though?
It's weird. Every time that they slam in, you see like a ghostly image of the book kind of fly apart and papers scatter, but then they just dissolve like mist. It appears that everything that they're doing is illusory. However, Vasu, with Detect Magic up, you can see that there is also a hint of divination on your shimmering vision.
Do I see divinate? I guess I can't see the golden images of anybody else, right? I can only see their shadow forms.
Correct.
Do those look like necromancy? Or any particular school of magic?
They appear to be... Oh boy, what would this be? Hang on.
Conjuration.
Yeah, I think it would be conjuration and a little hint of necromancy.
Okay. Basu's gonna fly up in the air a little bit so that he hopefully avoids some of these other people as he makes his way over here. It's gonna be a dash. I'll be how high is the ceiling in this room?
It's pretty tall, 30 feet tall.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I'll be like 10 feet up and I'll fly over. I'll get like right here next to Gale, but also 10 feet up. I'm gonna attack this Claudia right here. It's advantage because of the 20-foot dash.
20 is... She's gonna shield.
Oh, you bitch.
Yeah, she'd do that. It'd be like that.
Okay, I'm gonna attack one of these books instead then.
Plenty more than
11.
enough. And you can tell that that fire is especially effective on it.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Do the books seem to be like sharing a health pool or nah?
Yeah, as you cleave through, like 3 or 4 of the books just collapse to the floor and start burning away. The health pool is kind of a measurement of the entire swarm.
Cool. Then for whatever it's worth, add another 5 cold damage to that. And then I'm just gonna... I'll fly back down to the floor, put myself like right here in Shadow Ace's space if I can do that. Otherwise, here-ish.
He is actually taking up his
like,
space,
as long
so
as
yeah. He does occupy that space.
Okay. I'll be like 5 feet up above him since he's real short, and I'm gonna bonus action Tunnel Fighter, and that'll be my turn.
Alright, sounds good. At the end of your turn, let's throw one of those over to Nordo. I need a Charisma saving throw as a book flies into your chest.
This should go very poorly.
Notably, this is a golden book. Alright, good to know. Remind me that you have a golden book in your chest on your turn.
I'll try.
Elise.
Can she do a mass heal? I don't know.
Sure, she'll do a mass heal. She will throw herself. She'll come over this way. Doesn't want to trigger opportunity attack, so I think that'll work. This is going to be a mass cure wounds.
No matter
Beacon's
all of it.
Question mark?
No, Beacon's only a minute.
Oh, okay. I don't know how this one works.
Or I had to restart my roll 20 again. I cannot see anything.
Oh no. 19 points of healing for Gale, Vasu, Nomad, herself.
And then Nomad again.
Does anyone else need it? Nordo, you need some.
I'm down pretty good, yeah.
I'm all right for now. If someone else needs it more than I do, definitely take it. I've only taken like 14 damage.
Yeah, she's still only used up 5. She's got 1 left over if anyone needs it. Ace, are you damaged at all?
Ace was damaged.
I am. I'm missing like 28 health.
Okay, then 19 points of healing for you as well. And that's her turn.
Could someone restore 19 to me? I can't click myself
Yeah,
at all.
I'll grab it.
Thank you.
So was she able to hit somebody else other than me?
No, go and take yours.
What would the max dice roll be for that? Because of Shu.
Right, throw on another 1 for... Throw on another 8, so 27 total.
And I'm back up to full.
Hell yeah. Nordo, at the start of your turn, you watch as 2 figures emerge from your chest. One golden and shimmering that just begins going to town on Claudia, right next to you. And then the other one, which kind of raises a fist up and begins to chant earthen magic.
Okay. Well, boy, Nordo looks around the room, sees a whole lot of things that need killing. But he sees the wizard that he believes to be responsible for all this. So he will use a bonus action to shout blood and glory and go into a rage. And an action to attack. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that I will attack recklessly.
I'm glad that you do, though.
Oh, hold on. There we go.
Uh, 25 is just enough to get through the magical shield for 18 points of slashing damage.
I probably should have shielded. Who cares? I'm reckless. I assume 19 wouldn't have hit because of the shield.
Correct.
Okay. Second
But
attack.
she still needs a strength save, right?
Oh yeah, still need a strength save. That's correct.
She is restrained.
Oh, terrific. That's good news.
$27 is also good for another 17.
All right. That is the action. The bonus action, I believe. I will go ahead and do an action surge and attack again.
Whoop. 31 for another 11 is good.
$22, I think, misses.
22 does miss. It lands on the shield and is slapped away.
Okay, cool. That is my action and my action surge and my bonus action, and that's the end of my turn.
All right. That'll bring us to the top of a new round. Let's find out if this works.
Working fine now.
Hey, it worked. Let me
I
make
have
sure.
my sheet. I
Rolled
can
so much
fight.
better too.
Let me make sure that nothing weird happens at the bottom of the round.
I rolled a 9 initiative.
Okay, excellent. Ace, at the start of your turn, you... oh, right, he's already out. You're up. What would you like to do?
I have a good shot of her from here, right?
Yeah, you ignore cover. There would be something in that corner there, but you
Oh
ignore
my god,
cover.
I remembered a second to do something and I keep forgetting to do it. So I'm going to aim, and then I'm also going to take a -5 to do 10 more damage.
Woo! Bear in mind, she has a magical shield up. Her AC's like 24 right
True.
now.
I guess I can shoot a different one then, can't I?
Good.
Just want to get her health down. She has health. It's fine. I guess I'll shoot this one over here then.
All right, that is with an aim and a sharpshooter.
With aim and a sharpshooter.
All right.
Ooh.
22 does hit, and she doesn't shield. Oh wait, -5. Oh, it's not built in there. Yeah, that's right. That
Is the elven accuracy at the bottom built in, or
It
is
is.
it just the raw roll?
that is
I can't tell.
that is the same roll as your normal attack roll, so that would also be -5.
Okay. So that one already has my attack modifier put into it. I just
Yeah.
can't see it because all the numbers keep bleeding to the bottom past the taskbar.
So in other words, your elven accuracy is a 12. But yeah, it's got it all built in already.
Gotcha.
So that means that is a 17 to hit, which is unfortunately no good. She is able to kind of sidestep that shot as it flies past it.
I guess I'll just shoot her regularly then.
All right.
Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna shoot myself.
All right. Seeing this shadowy version of yourself,
Aww.
you do get sneak.
Oh, I do. Sorry, I didn't roll for that. I just meant more like that elven accuracy would have been nice.
Yeah, that's a damn shame. Go ahead and roll fresh
I'll just-
damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
31 is plenty more than enough to hit yourself. For 26 points of damage as the arrow sinks in, just straight through the temple. You watch as this shadow collapses and then dissipates into nothing.
That's my turn.
All right, at the end of your turn, this Claudia is going to throw a firebolt at Moat. $23 to hit. Pretty sure that misses.
It misses.
All right, that'll bring us to Nordo.
Okay, cool.
At the start of your turn, a shadowy visage of yourself starts to channel earthen magic.
Terrible news. I will kind of wheel around a little bit, get over to here, keep on attacking, still recklessly.
28 slams in.
I
Even
think a
past the
20,
shield.
25 would have also hit too, right?
It would have, yeah.
Cool, so she is prone now too. Second attack. Actually, you know what? Is it too late? You know, I already said it. It's fine. Can I say that I didn't attack recklessly because I forgot she was restrained this whole time already?
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
You do
Second.
also notice, and this is the first time it's happened, but you and Ace and a couple other people have pretty high passive perception. When this particular hit lands like square in her old lady jaw as she is held in place by these vines, you do watch as both of the other Claudias wince.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. We'll do another attack.
Uh, 26 is good even through the shield for another 14.
Okay, fantastic. Having seen Ace just now put an arrow through that Shadow Ace and dissipated it instantly, I will kind of step away from her. I don't imagine she takes an opportunity attack, but she can.
She does not.
Cool. And then I will go ahead and declare a flurry of blows and do an unarmed strike on Shadow Gale.
26 is plenty for 11 points of bludgeoning damage. Huge bits of oily smoke roll off of it, but it's still standing.
Okay, second attack then.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Make that attack at disadvantage. I forgot. Gale, the
Uh-oh.
first attack against Gale's at disadvantage.
That'd be like a...
Still
I
good.
should have just rolled an actual attack. Okay,
No,
cool.
you're good. You're good.
Excellent. Second attack. This one's the bite.
This one's just a straight roll. That one is enough to do it. You chomp down and basically just decapitate the Shadow Gale.
Outstanding. Nordo doesn't like to do it, but he does. Have I reduced a creature within 5 of me to 0 hit points?
You have, yeah.
Okay, cool. In that case, some of the Shadowy Gale's shadowy blood absorbs into Nordo. And he will then take a step back in the direction of the wizard to just kind of impose near her. And that's the end of my turn. Let me give her some more bleeds.
Alright, at the end of your turn, let's villainize somebody. Let's villainize Elise. You watch as a shadowy book flies into Elise's chest. She makes a charisma saving throw. And out pops.
Not Shadow Elise, anything
Shadow
but that.
She's gonna unheal us.
But for real.
Alright, that's going to bring us to Elise's turn.
Spoiler, she's going to heal them.
Nope, she's just gonna run out and do touch of death on all of us.
I think
Probably.
she... What do you guys want her to do? I think her instinct is to go heal Nomad, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I think that's the right choice.
Alright, she will run over and heal Nomad.
Thank you.
For
I feel
37 points of
strange.
healing. Let's see, 4, that is 6 from that, and then 7 from that. Ooh, she's getting low. Alright, that is...
Thank you. I feel much better now.
That'll bring us to Moat. But before then, let's fire another firebolt. The southernmost Claudia is going to shoot a firebolt at Moat. 29?
Ooh,
Remember.
that even hits through the shield.
Hell yeah! She sees a weakness in the back of the magical shield that you've created, and another sigil pops up.
Question.
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot. Never mind.
Alright.
What's important, but not that important, I guess. Please continue.
Moat, at the start of your turn, a shadowy visage steps forward, plants itself in place, and starts hacking away at these books in front of you.
All right. I assume there's like a ceiling in this room.
There is. It's about 30 feet up. It's a very tall room, but there is one. It's kind of dome-shaped.
Okay. I take a step up towards Nomad and Elise here, and I kind of just look up at the ceiling, and I hold my shield out to it, and 5 golden rings appear like in the center of the ceiling, and they start glowing brighter and brighter and brighter, and I'm going to cast a spell and just see what happens.
Boy, nothing happened. Oh,
What?
sorry, I just mean that they don't like counterspell or anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like canceled immediately.
I was like,
Nothing
he said it so fast.
It's like I didn't even cast it yet.
No, there is an eruption of daylight that just kind of shines down like a beacon, covering the entire room. It illuminates everything. Everything becomes very visibly clear. Claudia kind of winces a little, like you would expect from somebody who's just stared into the sun on accident. But you do notice that the shadowy Elise begins to flicker violently. It does seem to be, at least, very much not enjoying that light. It's hard to tell exactly what it's doing, but it doesn't like that light at all.
Okay, I'll take it. And then, boy, let's see if I can just throw some mana away. I'm going to quicken a spell and cast it on Claudia. I'll cast it on like the prone big main Claudia up there.
Top Claudia. Oh no. Okay.
That's all the game.
This is not
Oh,
good.
you can only do cantrips.
Yeah. That's a level
Oh,
one and
yeah, you
level
cast
two.
a spell on your
Yeah.
turn already.
Oh, right, even with Quicken. Yep, that's true.
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad. I don't
wait.
have
Oh, right.
I was confused Quicken with Action Surge, because you can Action Surge another spell. You just
Yeah.
can't Quicken.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Fighters are better at casting fast than wizards are. Or
Like me.
sorcerers are.
I can cast 2 spells in my turn.
It's true.
Okay, if that's the case, then I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna try to like get in front of Nomad between these two Claudias.
Alright, sounds good.
Just yeah.
Alright, let's see. At the end of your turn... Yeah, I think we want to do that. The southernmost Claudia is going to use her last legendary to throw a firebolt at Gale. You do have cover from creatures in front of you, so +2 to your AC for this.
I don't think it's gonna help.
It might. 22 to hit.
Almost.
Alright, as it hits, there is another set of sigils that is drawn here.
Oh, the sigils are being drawn.
Alright, that brings us to Vasu.
Okay, I forgot which one of them is prone.
The very
sideways.
topmost one, and also before I forget, you see a shadowy version of yourself start casting the spell.
She's
Oh,
prone
no.
and restrained also.
Why a shadowy one?
I don't know.
I haven't been hit with any books or anything yet. There was
Yeah.
just a golden boy.
Notably, nobody else seems to react to it. It seems that you're the only one able to see this one. And you do also see faint hints of necromancy, but overwhelmingly divination on this shadow.
Can I
I
pick up
get
any
it.
kind? Can I pick up any kind of vibe of the magic it's casting before the spell fully goes off, or is that asking for too much?
If you want to use your reaction, you can try to identify the spell. Otherwise, it just looks like weird arcane casting.
Yeah, Vasu is not the best at Arcana, so instead he's gonna do what he is good at. He's gonna attack.
Alright.
Wind back enough to give me a dash on this, so I'm sure I've got advantage on this attack for like 3 reasons.
There's like
now.
3 reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, 28
Ooh.
crashes through the shield. 20 points of piercing and fire damage. You watch as one of her fingers is lopped off. I need that to cast spells!
Good, that's the idea. I'm taking the rest of them next. 4 more fire damage, 5 more cold, and I'm gonna keep attacking.
I'll grow another one.
Not if I cauterize it, you old hag.
Ooh, 20 slams into the shield. She's able to stop that one.
Oh, you bitch. Why'd I have to go before you? I'm just gonna bonus action Tunnel Fighter again.
Alright, excellent. That is 24
I don't
total
have a
from
whole
that
lot of
first
key left.
hit. You do notice that there is kind of a flash of fire that seems to just rapidly ignite on these other two as well, and they both like wave their hands simultaneously to shake the fire off. Alright, that brings us to her turn. The first thing that happens is she takes some bleed.
She takes some fire too.
Ooh, and some fire. 27 points of bleed damage.
I've hit her 5 times.
Holy fucking shit.
That's another con
And
save,
then
right?
five.
Why can't my fire stack?
Oh, hey, that worked out better than expected. Okay. In fact, that is perfectly exactly right. Alright, cool. The first thing that happens is that they are each going to throw a firebolt. The one that is prone and fucked sideways is going to just throw it at disadvantage at Nordo.
These runes are bothering me. They're drawing something.
22 on Nordo, I think does hit.
Yeah, that's a 27, and it'll definitely hit.
Let's just try to get this a little bigger. This one on the right side is going to shoot at the moat. 22?
Miss.
And the bottom one will also go for... No, the bottom one's going to go for Vasu. You do have cover because she's firing through creatures. So, big old miss.
Natural 4.
The
Hey,
one that is...
Quick question.
Yeah.
Does Sentinel only work on weapon attacks, or does that work on like magic attacks too?
Ooh, good question. Let me go check.
And from what I have in my character sheet, it says when a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack, just an attack against the target.
Yeah, that's correct.
Like melee.
Yeah, so you can absolutely swing
Cool.
on her with Sentinel.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh, that's a crit!
Yeah. It is because she don't have no shield no more.
She sure doesn't. That is 31 points of damage.
Add another 10 cold because that gets doubled in a crit too, I believe.
Is it just a flat number? Like, does it just add 5?
Oh yeah, it is just like my proficiency for that.
Gotcha.
So it might not get doubled.
Yeah, only doubles die. Which is weird. That's another thing
Gotcha.
I kind of like about Pathfinder. But anyway. She's going to do one of these. Half. 31, 37. 18. Shit.
Ha ha ha.
You watch as this one kind of sinks in. You can almost see the tip of your blade momentarily appear at all 3 locations and slash, kind of just missing her jawline on all 3 of them. And then you watch as there is a poof, and this one disappears, and this one disappears. And the one farthest south is like, oh, fuck me, that hurt. Who are you?
I'm gonna like stare over at her and do the thing where like I point at my eyes and then point at her eyes and be like, I'm coming for the rest of those fingers.
She holds up both of her hands, and you can see that she has all of her fingers on these 2 hands.
Yeah,
Oh,
looks
you
like
bitch.
you need to focus on just one and kill it.
Notably, it seems that she's not on fire and not bleeding.
Okay.
The next thing that she's going to do is cast a spell.
Oh, I don't have my reaction back. It hasn't been my turn yet.
You have no idea how arousing it is to hear that. Because
I am reserving all my spell slots specifically to counterspell.
because as she casts a spell, you watch as all of these sigils light up, and then in a flash of magic, lines form between them, and there's a magical eruption.
What's
That hits Nomad, Nordo, and Elise. There's just a flash of psychic energy, and you feel this horrible, racking pain at the base of your skull. I need an intelligence saving throw from Nordo, Nomad, and Elise.
But I don't resist psychic damage.
Oh no.
Dumb it.
Oh no, did I actually get Nomad with an int save?
got me? I rolled
Oh no.
That's a
Can they-
24.
roll that?
Oh god
Oh,
damn
yeah,
it,
it's a
Mo.
24. Yeah,
Can
and also
roll that?
Elise gets it too.
So Elise has a
Yeah,
19,
yeah.
Nomad is a
Oh.
24, and Nordo, is Nordo in range?
I don't think so. I think I'm 15.
Yeah, you're just out.
Alright, Nomad, you are barely able, with the help of Moat and his sunlight, to resist the effects of this spell. Nordo and Elise, you don't really think much of anything anymore.
Nothing changes.
Pretty much. You each take 16 points of psychic damage, and are afflicted by feeble mind.
Mass feeble mind?
You are reduced to your base animal instincts. You still recognize who your friends are. You're even able to tell that the shadowy version is not really elite. It's an imposter. It's somebody that looks wrong. There's something wrong with it. But you are essentially reduced to animal intelligence for the foreseeable future.
Was our healer, and our barbarian doesn't really. But
Barbarian's out of mana,
him
so
too.
his only options currently are keep raging.
yeah,
Also, yes.
This is the worst timeline.
It's kind of a dark way of looking at it, but you're not wrong.
Yeah, I'm just like the most loyal dog now. I'm just gonna stick right by his side.
I told you everything was going to work out.
Certainly.
How are we gonna poison Moat?
I still got the poison. Animals don't understand poison, but Gale does.
Cusco's poison. Poison for Cusco.
Poison specifically designed for
Kill Cusco. Cusco's poison.
And then she's gonna cast another spell, because, you know, why not?
Is it
But that's
Fireball?
Spells.
You know, it's funny that you should mention it. It is, in fact, a fireball. Let's
That's
see.
2 spells.
It is.
So that means she hits the books too.
It will. But yeah, you do notice that all of the glyphs have been consumed.
Excuse me. Why can she cast 2 spells in one turn?
What a great question.
She's old.
She's very old.
You get
Okay,
well,
if that's gonna be
it gets-
if that's
when-
gonna
when
be
you
the
turn
bullshit
65,
answer we
you
go to,
retire?
what the no, shut up and let me talk. If that's gonna be the bullshit answer we go to, why the fuck can't Sal cast 2 spells in one turn?
He should.
He's
He's
older than everybody in any campaign ever, and a powerful sorcerer.
You should ask her when you get done with this if you survive.
I'm
Oh,
so mad
God.
right now.
Why did you make boobs?
This is gonna hit everyone. So here we go.
It's gonna suck. Oh, that's not as bad as I thought.
It's not.
How the fuck do I roll a 19 on my deck save and a 9 on my id save? So 26.
Do like an Animal Crossing backwards flip or something and just dodge
It's
it.
because you're flying.
The books get burnt.
They do, and even though they only take half, it doubles back up to 24. They seem very vulnerable to that fire. You do also notice that Shadow Elise has popped.
Oh.
But at the end of her turn, she's going to split back into 3, and I think she just wants to be over here for a little while. Maybe one over here for good measure. All right.
This is one of these that return.
Hold
seem to
on.
be
Quick
bleeding and on
question.
fire.
I forget how evasion works. If I succeed, I still only take half damage, right?
If you succeed,
I
you
fail, I
take
still
no.
take half, right?
Yeah, if you fail, you take half.
Okay, so I took half, and then I resist fire, so that would only be like 6.
Correct. Yeah, 24 to 12, 12 to 6. And Nordo, you notice that when these 3 kind of phasing in and out images of her appear, they all appear to have all of their fingers to not be bleeding and to not be on fire.
Well, fuck.
That will bring us to Nomad, and at the start of Nomad's turn, you see a golden vision of yourself that draws this kind of curved longsword and just starts swinging on books.
I really do not know what that means.
It means don't do that on your turn. Oh wait, that's the golden one. It means do that on your turn.
I guess.
That's
so
that's my theory anyway.
So this is what I'm going to do, because these are the easiest things to hit in this radius here. And this does go around corners. And it'll also hit the books. I'm going to use my bonus action to increase the DC to 20.
Uh-oh.
And this is a 5th level Chromatic Calamity.
Oh boy.
Haven't cast a spell in a while. This is actually Catastrophe, not Calamity. Calamity comes later.
I'm sensing a theme with all of your custom spells.
What?
Oh boy. Okay, so this hit just the books, or does this also hit any of the Claudias?
Also, and 2 of the Claudius in the bottom get hit.
Okay, excellent. So let's do the Claudius first.
And this is 7 mana, so let me remove my mana. The one of them succeed, despite it being a 20. How the fuck, Claudia? Roll an 18 on me like that. Oh my god.
It's because she's really old.
She's so
I will
fast.
tell you right now, it is not because she's really old.
She has advantage on her magic resistance or whatever. She has magic resistance. Oh my god, the books are fine too.
Even as nimble as they are, they still take double damage from fire, so they take the full 27.
Wait. That is my turn. I'm gonna try and move, I guess, like over here, a little above moat.
All right, excellent. That brings us to the books, and as it finally gets back around to the book, you notice, all of you, that all of your various projected golden and shadow images just kind of poof away into nothing, with two exceptions. Nordo, the golden version of yourself that was trying to cast a spell suddenly turns jet black and appears for everybody.
The
So you are supposed to do the thing it says.
And Nomad, the golden version of yourself that pulled a sword and began swinging, turns jet black and turns towards your friends.
I destroyed the book. Why? Was I supposed to punch a book? Or use a sword that I do not own?
Hard to say. Alright, let's do this.
Yeah. To argue a little bit of that, the golden one. That I might just be like arguing for nothing, but the golden one that first showed up for me pulled a weapon and started attacking books, and I've done that on both turns.
You have.
Yeah, but we haven't gotten any Shadow Vasus. You've done it correctly.
I did get a Shadow Vasu.
We haven't had a Shadow Vasu. Did we?
Oh, but only I could see him.
Yeah, that
Okay.
wasn't a real Shadow Vasu. That was the thing you had to do to not make a Shadow Vasu.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, I'm dumb. I just figured out how this worked.
I attacked the books. I don't understand.
Ignore me.
It does seem on to you. Well, what's your passive insight? I don't want to hand out freebies here.
Oh, here's the thing. I banished you to the Shadow Realm for breaking the rules. 16.
16, it is real weird to you that you've seen visions of yourself literally punching with the fist and drawing a sword that you don't have. Anyway,
You had it.
3 books are going to try to bonk people on the head. 1 on Nomad. 23 for some.
Should I use my shield on this? Because I want to dispel magic, but that never works.
That's between you and Jesus.
Me and myself.
Aren't you feeble?
What was
No,
that?
it's me and Elise. Or maybe just me. Is it me and Elise?
It's you and
It's
Elise.
you and Elise.
Nomad saved because of Motsora.
Thanks.
Oh.
So I am going to use shield. I might as well.
Alright. One of these is going to try... I mean, one of them's got to try to knock Gale out, right? Yeah, let's do it. Here we go. 24 for 28? And one will try to go for Vasu.
Unconscious.
13, which is a shame because that's really good damage.
Hey, the healers.
God damn it! Me and Motor are the healers.
All
I
right.
have a heal.
That
Goodness.
brings us to Gale. Gale, I need a death saving throw. And also,
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Have I mentioned how much I love this initiative system?
Once or twice.
It would have happened anyway. You rolled really low.
No, it wouldn't have, because I would have gone on an 18 last turn. Okay.
Alright, that brings us to the Shades. There is only Shadow Nomad.
What are you going to do? Punch?
Shadow Nordo too. Unless I'm missing.
Oh yeah, there is. You're totally right. Shadow Nordo is going to punch. It's going to turn around and punch Nomad. I think
Mi-
15 misses.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna fucking stun if you hit
Oh, I'm so sad.
like it.
Surely it would have attacked recklessly. I guess it doesn't matter though.
Well, it would have been a 15.
Right.
Nordo, you're already feeble-minded. Which means you're a juicy brain to eat. That makes sense, because your int is reduced. I don't even know if it's possible for you to make this save, but it is going to look at you and just lock eyes, and you feel this horrible feeling right in the center of your bridge of the nose.
Int save.
Well, my int is 1, so I cannot make that save.
Alright, 31 psychic damage, and you are stunned until the end of your next turn.
That's awful. What an awful thing to do.
And that'll bring us to the top of a new round.
Only damage type I don't resist while raging.
It's true. Hey, Scale needs help.
True, but then I won't be able to kill it, hit anything, and I think we're kind of.
That's true. You should kill the me.
You do see a shimmering version of yourself runs over and begins to try to patch up Gale.
Follow its lead. Its lead.
Yeah. Guess I'll step out here. And I'm going to cast a spell. And this spell, unfortunately, is going to get rid of my other spell. Oh, where's it at?
Guess it's better than the Shadow Ace coming out of nowhere.
I don't know why it didn't really roll anything, but I think it does.
D6,
Yeah.
I think.
I have four d6s I think I can do. So I can do it 4 times. So I'll cast my little pet me, little displacer beast appears on top of Gale. And just starts nuzzling him for a d6.
Excellent.
But
Alright.
that does break my concentration on my hunter's mark.
Noted. Okay. That's a bonus action.
Oh, that was bonus action? I
Yeah.
always forget.
Yeah, Healing Spirit's fucking great, man. It's real cool.
Alright, well, I guess I'm just gonna point at... Actually, I'll probably try to go after Nomad. I'll go after my friend, my fake friend.
Alright.
Appreciated.
I'm assuming I get favored enemy on him.
You do.
He's Nordo's only weakness.
Oh, I should... Can I free action just pull the skull out?
Boy, you normally keep it in like a backpack or something, right?
I mean, it's like it's... Yeah, it's. I mean, it's huge, but I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
fine.
if you were like wearing it on your person or something, or even in a belt pouch, then yeah. But if it's in your
I
backpack,
don't know how. I don't know how big it is.
it's pretty big.
So,
Yeah, it would need
Yeah.
to be in a backpack.
I just know that if I have it outside of a bag, Nomad can't see me. So
Whew, it only takes one shot. You fire it right into the stem of his neck, and he disappeared.
then I turn to Nomad and I give him a little wink.
I wink back. By that he says wink.
Wink, and then I move back over here.
All right, you
Give us a second
do
shot.
have a second shot if you want.
Oh yeah, I have a second shot.
Mission.
That's right. I forgot. That healing beast really just throws me off. All right, the next one's gonna go after. You know what? I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the other Nordo.
13 points of damage is good. It is still up a little bit, but you've blown a huge part of its shoulder out. It's really just like swinging with one arm at this point.
I just shake my head at this Shadow Nomad or Nordo, and I just go back over here.
All right, Nordo. You don't have any strange visions of yourself, but everything is weird and scary and confusing right now.
Yeah, Nordo's a big
Done.
fucking animal, very scared. He'll take a moment just to try to like collect his senses and center himself a little bit, and I'll use my bonus action for... Where'd it go? Second wind.
Stunned, isn't he?
No.
Oh yeah, you are by the Shadow Nomad. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, Shadow Nomad got me. Alright, cool.
You get a hero point.
I don't know, man. I was about to eat your brain.
he wanted it. But yes, you do. That'll bring us to Vasu. A shimmering version of yourself holds aloft a scroll from home and reads some elemental magic off of it.
Okay.
What happened to my Shadow Self after I healed Gale? Did it disappear?
It seems to still be over there. Are you okay? Like patting him, looking him over.
Gotcha. Okay,
It's still acting out as best as you can tell.
When does my stun end, just so I know?
At the end of your turn.
Okay. Okay, so it's over now. Cool, cool, cool.
Yep.
Voss is gonna dash straight over to this one, who is hopefully still the real Claudia. This is an attack at advantage.
25 is good for 17 points.
Nine more fire, 5 more cold.
Oh, that's a big hit. 26.
Good. Give me a con save.
Here is the con save for your thing. 12 is probably not good.
And she's stunned.
Yeah, you watch as she just goes like completely cross-eyed.
Good. Whew.
25 is good for another 23 on top of that. And you can see that this one is also like reeling from the impact. And she looks up with like a broken tooth and is like, "Oh, I would not want to be her."
Don't worry, you'll get you as two.
Oh no, is this her? Oh my god, she made it.
It's half damage still.
Alright, she does take a little bit.
But she's unfortunately not prone or anything.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
I got a couple of key points, and that is my turn.
Alright, at the end of your turn, let's get some more firebolts going. Let's throw one on Norda.
Not Nordo. Sweet, innocent, feral-brained turtle Nordo.
20?
20 hits.
Alright, 18 points of fire, and you watch
No.
as glyphs and runes appear around you again.
More like 9, right? Because rage.
It is 9.
Oh yeah, that's right. Alright, Shadow Nordo wants to punch someone. You know what? I think Shadow Nordo just kind of wants to go punch regular Nordo.
Makes quite a lot of sense.
Please reconsider.
Stop punching him.
Misses.
Thank Christ. I didn't get a chance to reckless attack on my turn.
Liz.
Elise runs over to the nearest thing she sees. Yeah, what's up?
I'll go ahead and use the hero point here just because I'm in a weird bestial animal form right now. I'm just trying to punch the guy back that just punched me.
Yeah, go for it.
That's what Nordo would do if he was an animal. And by punch, I mean hit with an axe.
Gale, you also have a hero point for being dead that one turn. 14 does hit for 13, and that is actually enough to pop this thing.
That's terrific news. And I've reduced a creature within 5 feet of me to 0 hit points. So, Nordo's instincts kick in despite being an animal, because this isn't magic or a spell or anything.
Excellent.
I have another attack to use, so I guess I'm just going to start swinging at the books all around me.
Sure. Uh, 18, I think is good. Where's your AC? It is good for 15 points. Or, sorry, 10.
It's a swarm. I assume it can't be restrained, but if it can be restrained or wounded, then those effects apply.
It doesn't seem that either one applies.
Okay, cool.
Alright. Elise is just swatting at these books in earnest without really any idea what's going on or why she's doing it.
You, Elise.
28 is good though for 14. And that'll bring us to Nomad. Nomad, at the start of your turn. Another golden image of yourself. This time, literally, just like tries to grab one of these books and starts eating it, like biting at the book.
He mocked the words, "What the fuck?"
Most emotion Nomad has ever shown.
Yeah, he's running out of mana. He's just frustrated right now. He's like, okay, very well. And he's going to try and attack a book with a weapon. He looks down the ground, he picks up a rock and just bashes a book with it.
Sure.
No weapons. I don't think I'm attuned to my like side blades even. So yeah, he just only Here's my supple illithid punch.
It's a good pun. You grab one of these books and like with a rock, you just start punching a book with a rock, and it worked. By the end of it, one of these tiny little leather journals is a beaten, frayed mess on the ground.
My goddamn action.
All right.
Probably. So that is my turn.
All right.
Over here. A question about the hero points.
Yeah.
I think that was it. When I use it, outside my turn, can I use it to cast? It's just a cantrip, right? I can't cast a leveled spell.
I believe so. Let me check.
As if it was your turn. I have the page open.
Yep.
So only a cantrip?
Uh-huh.
Damn it. In this case, what's this stuff over here?
It is bits of wreckage and debris. It looks like this room was damaged, and it is all just like floating in place, like the other parts of the damaged castle that you saw upstairs. Just
Okay.
bits of granite and limestone, and even bits of the bookshelf here, bits of carpet that have been torn off.
Okay. I'm just gonna aim for this lady and attempt to launch her off the side.
Woo! All right, excellent.
This thing. Wow. 19 probably misses because of her
She is going to take 8
Don't
points
you
of
get
force
slung?
damage,
10 feet over here.
and she goes flying 10 feet out this way, kind of brushes against the torn bit of the bookshelf over that way. Oh, and it's any direction, so yeah, she will go over here. And you do see that as she tumbles over, she does like kind of a weird, awkward spin as she kind of bumps into a lot of this debris. But then she does sort of float in place, as if in space. And you do remember that earlier, like you all kind of were able to fly around in the limbo.
Yeah. That was my reaction at the end of my turn, so that's all my hero points gone.
All right, that'll bring us to her actual turn. First thing first, they each fire a firebolt. I think these are all going to be at Vasu, because Vasu is being quite a nuisance. The first one's going to be at disadvantage because you're right next to her.
You think I'm afraid of a little fire?
17?
Hell no.
Another 17 and a critical
Nope.
miss. That all
Not
fail.
even. Not even close, pal.
You watch as these two both pop out of existence, and the one left over floating through the air, spinning around because of Nomad's launch, is like, oh, what? All right. What can I do? And she...
If it does matter, they take 1 fire damage at the start of their turn.
Ooh, excellent. That was on the southernmost one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like she
Real
did, but then
one.
she just poofs out.
So I hate this because like she clones herself, but also switches spots with them at the same time. It's not fair.
We're all the real one. Don't you get it? I'm everywhere.
I don't understand any of this, and I just want you dead.
Understanding. She's
Look,
gonna
I
test
spent
a
a lot
spell.
of valuable key on that.
Well, your concept of value just needs adjustment. Yeah,
You're killing us.
this seems like a really good time for one of these. Oh boy, would she know? No, she doesn't. She's gonna look at Moat and begin to cast a spell.
No reaction. I just used it for a hero point.
Alright, Moat, I need a wisdom saving throw. Why don't you show your friends that big sword of yours?
Is this a charm?
It is... Do you have resistance to charm?
Advantage.
Oh, fuck. Fuck. Oh, no! It is actually your elven heritage that prevents you from succumbing to the effects as she tries to dominate you. Well, shit. That's not good. Alright. Let's throw one over here, and one back over by Ace, actually. She really might as well be, except you can tell that she is actually just like a normal human. No green skin or anything. Alright, Moat, at the start of your turn. You see a golden image just kind of runs up next to Elise and kind of takes her side and tries to protect her from all these books as she looks confused and scared.
Okay. I will run up next to Elise. And I don't know, I can't like dodge for her. I guess I'll boy. Okay, actually I'm gonna run to the space right in front of Elise. I'm gonna go ahead and quicken a green flame blade
Hell yeah.
and hit Claudia and the books and hope that's enough for this weird little gold shadow.
Alright. $23. Ooh, that looks real nasty. I think she still wants to hold her reaction, though. So that is going to hit. 27.
And here comes the smite, in
Oh.
case that wasn't.
Fuck. 38 points of fire jumps over to the books.
Hold on. Why do I always manage to lose smite? It's like the only thing I do.
No, not me. Them, you idiot. Them. Oh, God.
It's got a Robbie Rotten flashback.
She does seem to take the undead damage as well.
Ooh, interesting. Okay,
Interesting.
so that was a
Fighting
quickened.
ghosts this whole time.
Yeah, but she's canonically humanoid. Ace has been getting the humanoid advantage.
She's both. That was the quickened cantrip. And then for my action, God, this is so stupid. I'm gonna try anyway. I'm gonna look at the Claudia in front of me, and I'm going to cast Command.
There we go.
Oh, no. What are you commanded to do?
Boy. I command her to merge.
Like that. A lot. Command is the best spell in the game. I will say it to you.
Oh,
It
thank God.
is.
Okay. What? No, why would I do that?
You're a real piece of work, you know that, Claudia?
Oh, you haven't seen the half of it.
That is everything I can do. That's it.
All right, excellent. Books are up. All of your illusions vanish, except for you see a Dark Elise. Another Dark Elise emerges in the center of the room. And then books are going to swirl around. We're going to do one on Norda. Big old miss. One on Nomad. And another on Nomad. 20 might hit Nomad?
Nope.
Shit.
Ooh.
Alright, Gale, in this hazy, delirious state, you do see a golden version of yourself that, wanting to fight back and survive, draws a weapon and starts firing at the book.
You also just touch the displacer piece against its inner space.
That's true, yeah. You can get another d6 from that if you want.
Don't I just get that initially at the start of my turn?
So I've always done it wrong, and I had to look recently when I took it again. It works like Moonbeam or anything else. It technically is just an effect that happens at the start of your turn or if you move into it. But it is totally free. It doesn't require any sort of action.
Yeah, touch it again.
All right, you want me to roll for it? Or do you want to roll for it?
Oh, I should let you roll for it.
Oh no. Oh no.
I really should let you roll for it. Alright, well, I'm dead anyways, so Gale's gonna get up. Saunter on over to here. And just crying and blubbering is going to say, I'm sorry, please stop hurting them.
Oh no.
Hey, he's just gonna break down and cry.
Oh
I love it.
All of us advantage.
no.
Yeah, so because my sheet's also fucked up, I'm using Grovel Cower Bag.
Yeah, you do see that even the ones that are far away They seem to be truly endeared by this. They you can see their heart break. All right, that'll bring us to the top of a new round. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shadow Elise is going vert.
Playing this should have consistently bad.
I think you might have lucked out, because if I remember correctly, what does hers do? Alright, you do see that she raises this shadowy shield up, and there is just this dark bubble of energy that pops around her, all of the books, and all of the instances of Claudia.
Does the daylight spell do anything?
Oh, fuck!
That's
It
just throwing.
sure does. Who cast that? It was Moat, right?
Yes.
Give me a spellcasting check.
Plus your charisma.
Yes. Jesus. Struggle.
So I think
Oh,
that
no, that's bad.
It still beats a coin flip, and that means she is stunned and does nothing on her turn.
Beautiful.
And that brings us to Hulk.
I think Dynamic
Okay.
Initiative might have screwed us over by giving Gale only like one turn of his grapple bag.
I changed that, I think. I'll double check. I think that just lasts for a round now.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Not stunned anymore, right?
That's again.
Yeah, I'm no longer stunned. Nordo sees his poor little Gale crying on the ground over there, and he sees his dear friend Moat squaring up with this lady. So he'll run up, just yelling and screaming, and start trying to protect Gale and Moat from this lady with his axe, recklessly.
There it goes. It actually works. Let me throw this down here. Let's see. 24 is a solid hit for 9.
She's prone if a 23 would have hit.
It sure would have. So she is prone and takes 9.
Nordo can't do much, but he can recognize his friends and expend a superiority die. If I can find it in here. 5 more damage, and the next person to attack it has advantage as he kind of looks back at Gale and nods at him a little bit.
Excellent.
And then second attack. And you know what, while we're at it, can I get a con save?
Sure can. Oh, actually, this first one is for a different effect. And then here's one for yours. Oh my god, they're both terrible.
Cool. She's stunned. Second attack.
Oh my goodness.
She's also probably restrained. It also probably doesn't matter. She's going to disappear in a couple seconds. But she's restrained if she doesn't make a DC 17 strength save.
Yeah.
Restrained, prone, stunned.
Oh yeah, she is all sorts of fucked up. And you do actually see that that second hit leaves lasting injuries on the other two as well.
Okay, terrific. I will use a flurry of blows in my animal turtle rage. For their bite, which automatically crits if it hits.
Whew, 16 points. This, she is not looking great at all, actually. She looks like a beat-up old woman.
Fantastic. I'll try to make her look even more like a beat-up old woman with the last hit.
Oh my goodness. Another 13 points.
Alright, that is all the juice Nordo's got in him. He just comes over here and goes to town on this lady, trying to protect his friends.
Alright. That'll bring us to the end of a round. The topmost one is going to shoot a firebolt at Vasu. Big old miss.
Not today, Grandma.
That'll bring us to Gale.
Well, I was gonna do a thing, but she's looking pretty bad, so I'm gonna come on over here and just shoot her in the face.
Oh, if it affects what you do, I forgot to do that. There you go. When you start to run away, you do see that a shadowy version of yourself lingers behind.
Shadowy though.
I
Fuck
said
that
shadow
guy.
means you don't do what that guy did, so you're doing perfect.
Oh my goodness,
Good
2
hit.
really good hits. Woo! Yeah, those both slam in. She cannot stop that.
15 and 11.
Woo! She is hanging in there just barely. She looks like one more of those hits probably would do it.
Bleeds will do it otherwise. Maybe.
I'm going to use an Arcane Jolt.
Fuck yeah.
Sick.
Do 11 on her.
She has exactly 11 health. As this...
Heal herself.
Hell yeah. As this Claudia's eyes roll back, there's a horrific kind of crunching crack comes from the side of her skull. You watch as the other two just suddenly grasp at their heads, reeling in pain. I need you to roll me 4d12, please. First, let me do these 3 or 2. Good and bad. So first of all, this. And second, they each take 21 points of psychic damage. And they need to do... they're both stunned.
Beautiful.
That's not great. Alright. Anything else?
That's it for me.
At the end of your turn, we need to villainize somebody. We gotta do something. Gotta do something. It's gotta be Ace. You're just too good. Ace, I need the charisma saving throw as a shadowy book flies into your chest.
But I'm so far away.
You are. It's perfect. Delightful.
Yeah, I can't succeed these.
Out comes a shadow. But it is your turn.
Is he holding a weapon?
Sure is. Seems to be a bow very similar to yours.
Cool. That means he can't attack of opportunity me very easily.
Probably not.
Step forward. Probably step around this corner.
Yep, he does
And you said these are stunned?
not. Yes. They both
Alright,
appear
so-
to be reeling in pain, just howling out.
So first, as my bonus action, I'm going to move my healing thing to Gale.
Excellent.
Does it automatically heal him this turn?
Rules as written, no, but we'll keep doing it the way that we've been doing it, so yes.
Okay, so it has one more heal then after this. And then, since I have advantage on the stun girl, I'm gonna do my sharpshooter thing where I take a -5.
Excellent. Whew. So that's
So it's gonna
another
do 10
10
more.
on top of that. Holy fuck. 40 points of damage to this top one as an arrow just
Hot.
sinks into her neck. The howling from the northern one is stifled as it turns into more of a gurgle.
And then I'm gonna do the same thing with my next shot.
Another 23 on top of that. Whew. Not good.
And then, yeah.
All right.
And then I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm over there, guys. Be careful.
Excellent. Boy, they can't do that. So let's just throw a golden book at. We'll throw it at Moat. Moat, I need a charisma saving throw. You are getting sick and tired of these books doing weird shit. You just reach down and grab this book as it's starting to fly into your chest, and you can feel this magical surge of energy as you just kind of will this thing back out, wriggling and squealing like an animal, and toss it away.
Dude, fuck books, am I right?
And that brings it to your turn, and you see a shadowy version of yourself that starts casting a spell.
Cool. I will head over here to this lovely stunned lady and attack her.
No, keep focus firing. Ow.
Yeah, I'll go second attack. Actually, I lied. I'm gonna pump a baby smite into that.
Excellent.
Baby smite.
Just a little baby smite. Actually, with the undead damage, that's pretty good.
It's not terrible. Alright, and then second attack.
Oh! I use my reaction to ignite my weapon.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then I'll do a medium smite to this one. I think you should go at least extra medium.
This
Extra
smite
medium.
is
I've only got
just
baby,
right.
medium, and hard.
Baby medium and hard.
Oh, that's a shitty medium smite.
The same as your baby smite.
I should have just done a hard smite.
Told you to go extra medium.
Alright, as
You did.
fire flares from the sword, the rest of you do see that there is a flash of flames that come from up north as well. Anything else?
Hit. Quicken? I don't know.
I'm out of points is the problem.
You also don't
No.
want to cast a spell or we'll get
I
shot
was
up.
saying I don't want to cast a spell. I
True.
will. So she's just stunned, right?
Yes. She's
I'll go ahead and
kind of
just-
like cross-eyed.
This is probably going to be worthless when she merges, but I'll go ahead and use my shield master to try and knock her prone too.
Alright, excellent. She just fucking fails.
Okay,
And
cool.
just cry. You can roll it if you feel like it, but her physical stats are ass and she's stunned.
Got it.
Alright, on her turn. Boy, she's stunned, so this could go really poorly. You guys want a 1. Oh, thank God. Okay. This one disappears. This is her. She spends her whole turn stunned. And at the end of her turn, 3 prone versions of herself pop up throughout the map. And that's it. Vasu's up.
Eeny, meeny, miny. Nah, fuck this. Tell me real quick, how do those I forget what they're called. How do these cool shark teeth that my little brother sent me work? Are those like an item interaction?
Ooh, let me double
Hunter's
check.
teeth?
I think these are in your inventory, right?
Well, if they're in my inventory, I have a letter to Vasu in my inventory that is, but I don't think I ever really got like specific details about how these worked.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe I did and I just didn't write it down myself.
I don't know if you've ever actually identified it. As far as you can tell based on what was written there, you think it would probably take an action to do it.
An action. Okay, I'm gonna ask you how much you're willing to let me do this.
Alright.
I'm gonna pass one of these teeth to Shu, and Shu is gonna use her action.
You know what? Sure. It would be an item interaction to hand it over, and there's no rule saying that a familiar can't take that action. In fact, it explicitly says that it can. So yeah, that works. However, Shu needs to speak. Can Shu speak?
Shu can I think with like the she can at least speak to me. I don't know. I probably should have read. Should it?
Pseudo dragons explicitly cannot speak unless she has the special thing for being your pseudo dragon.
I mean, she's an owl.
Owl
Owl
also
dragon.
cannot speak.
I think you have to get a
Shut
special
up.
invocation to do that for the warlock.
Claudia! Morgan. Nah, it'd be rough. If you want, Shu can give me a very difficult performance check to hoot in the name of Claudia Margus. Or to screech or make phoenix sounds or whatever. But yeah, the item does say you have
You know
to
what?
speak the name.
I need hero point. Okay, I need hero points anyway, and I want to figure out how this thing actually works. I will use my whole actual action to throw one of these up in the air and say, Claudia Margus, I'm coming for your fucking head.
Okay, well this is incredibly interesting. Alright.
I'm really curious.
So I believe what would happen. Okay.
Also, I should look up how many of these D actually sent me.
You watch as this tooth flies up into the air.
Okay, I have 4 of them.
It ascends towards the center of the room, kind of directly above Shadow Elise, and then it begins to just fucking go nuts, spiraling around in all sorts of directions, tumbling in place like it can't figure out which way it wants to go. And eventually there is a chalky crack, and you watch as it splits 3 ways, the tip and each of the top corners of it. And one of each of the 3 tips flies over to one of the images of Claudia. And when they each arrive at one of the instances of Claudia, they seem to reform with the other 2, which magically appear in those locations as well. And you can see this shark's tooth pressed right up against the bottom of the neck of all 3 of the Claudia Marguses.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, Vasu flies to this space right above this book. Bonus action tunnel fighter, that's me. I will take my hero point, thank you.
Absolutely. And at the end of your turn, one of the prone ones is going to fire a firebolt. It's going to fire it at Nomad.
Disadvantage?
Shit. 23?
Oh, 23 hits. I don't think I have my my reaction back. So that just hits 23.
All right, glyphs
The
appear.
good news is that I've got my reaction,
Oh no.
and I'll shield it for you.
Oh no.
Thank you. Let's tip them scales.
No glyphs for me. That'll bring us to Nomad's turn. At the start of your turn, you see a golden vision of yourself. It really likes this one for you. What the hell?
My own decisions.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Bonus action, DC 20. This is a brainstorm. It's lightning down. For 35. So this takes all the books, Shadow Elise, Prone Lady here, and Prone Lady here.
And what kind of damage did you say?
It's a brainstorm, so we're
Psychic-
using light.
Oh, lightning. Okay, excellent.
Of course. You have a +2, lady! A +2! Every single time!
So on the bright side, let's see here. Top one first. Means that this one and this one each take that much. And then second one. Oh no! This one is just caught up in smoldering arcs of lightning until she is fried to death. And you can give me 40-12. That is plenty more than enough for these two to collapse as well. And you watch as all three of them are silenced. One charred by lightning, one bleeding from the nose and scorched, and then finally just knocked out from psychic damage. And one with this just horrified expression on her face that slumps against the stairwell in front of Ace.
Shadow Elise and the books.
Wait, does Shadow Ace come out and like wink at me and like wink?
Possibly. Let's find out what Elise. Oop, not this Elise. That's the real Elise. Uh, 17. Oh my god, she's actually still up. Oh, right! Fucking daylight! Son of a bitch! Oh wait, 15 failed anyway. Your DC is 22. Or 20. Yeah, that Elise is gone. And book. Oh my god, they actually failed too. Holy shit. You notice these things are very, very nimble. But that is plenty more than enough to catch them, and Arcing Lightning just fries several of them.
Vulnerable to like AoEs?
They are vulnerable to AoEs. Thank you.
70?
Shit. Alright, that takes out a very large chunk of these things.
Just like, I feel so vindicated. Fuck.
You do also watch as these glyphs over here blink out of existence.
I think the insanity is taking hold, my friends.
As you say that, you do watch as a shadowy nomad does kind of form in place over here. And then the books are going to take 3 attacks on folks. One on Nomad. Big old miss. One on Moat. Big old miss. And one on 8. There we go. Big hit.
Oh.
Right. Well, so is the last one on me?
The
right?
last one's on you, yeah.
I'm going to put a shield up.
Damn it. Alright, that brings us to Elise's turn. Elise is still feeble-minded. She just kind of swings around at everything around her.
Books.
To no avail. At this point, she's very dead, but the Cower Bag and Grovel ends. And that brings us to the top of a new round. Where Vasu is the first act.
I guess I'll just beat up some books unless the books tell me that I shouldn't otherwise.
Oh, right, that thing. Thank you for the reminder. No, they seem to very much want you to. Or at least the golden one is.
Attack my nomad. Oh wait, the golden one wants you to, right? Oh, you might as well.
Just because I can attack them from anywhere, though, I am going to take a 20-foot dash over this ish way. I will first attack the books right next to the Shadow Nomad with advantage.
Excellent.
And some extra fire.
Woo! Woo! 28 is good for 17, and some bonus, another 8. Oh, good fire roll, too. 8 extra from the fire.
Another 8 fire on top of that from the dash. And then, yeah, I gotta get rid of these things, especially the Nomad one. It seems dangerous, if not a little sexy. So I'm gonna put the second attack on him.
Excuse?
Say what now?
Nah, never mind.
Let's do grades.
15 is good for 11 points, but Sexy Shadow Nomad stays up.
Another 5 cold on top of that.
Good thing Sexy Shadow doesn't have Nomad level HP.
Yeah, I also only have 3 key points left, so... Vasu's gonna back up a bit here, and bonus action Tunnel Fighter. We'll fly another 5 feet up, just so I can get that cheeky opportunity attack on Dark Nomad if he moves too. God, I love Sentinel.
All right. That'll bring us to Moat, but at the end of your turn, legendary action. Let's have a... Oh, let's do Vasu, actually. Vasu, a shadowy book flies into your chest. Give me a charisma saving throw.
Please no.
I want to know what it does so bad.
Been dreading this entire... Charisma is my lowest stat.
Sure
What?
is.
That's gonna do stunning strikes.
That's really
I don't know
saying
what it
something.
does.
Oh
Or if it's gonna
no!
tunnel fight.
Excellent. That's what I like to see. All right, shadowy Vasu joins the fight.
Would he move at all?
And
The
that'll
fuck
bring
are
us...
you looking at?
Fuck are you looking at? It doesn't actually talk. I just couldn't resist.
I just, yeah, I imagine it lip syncs it back at least.
It sure
because
does.
it's me.
That'll bring us to...
Or is Shadow Vasu like the monk that Vasu should actually be? He's just like never talks, super stoic. I'm so curious.
Like Scott Pilgrim is just a nice guy.
He's just a nice guy. Moat.
What does my shadow do?
Good call. Thank you for the reminder. Start swinging on books.
Shit. Okay.
Shadow to attack.
Got super sexy Nomad to kill.
And
I
a very scary ace.
I see that.
Kill the false god.
Bum, bum, bum. I am going to run over here. I'm going to reach down and put a hand on Gale's shoulder, and I'm going to do some healing since I think I'm the only healer right now that can get to Gale.
$32 points of healing for Gale.
Then I'm going to... Actually, I need to read something. Sorry, hold on.
Sure.
Alright, cool. I am then just going to use the rest of my movement to step up to Shadow Vasu.
Alright, sounds good. At the end of your turn, a golden shimmering book. It really wants to get into Moat, but you're so good at it. They aren't smart enough to know that. Another golden book tries to float into your chest, Moat. Give me a charisma save. You're good. That brings us to Gale.
Try and take out Vasu, I guess.
Oh, right, this thing. There we go. You do see, right as you're about to lift your weapon, a shadowy version of yourself points it towards some of the books and fires.
Whoops.
Oops.
Oh,
It kept...
5 and 19.
Yeah, solid hit, and that is enough damage to do it.
No, those are
Oh,
both
that's
attack rolls.
attack rolls, yes. They both hit.
Wait, I just realized you made like black and white versions of our tokens. Very good.
I did.
14,
That's a
16.
The second shot does it, and Shadow Vasu is put down before he is able to cause any havoc.
He catches it and throws it, which
That's
would be
what's
bad.
up.
I sure do wish.
That's it for me.
Alright, that'll bring us to Nordo.
Okay. Do I get like marching orders in this? I don't understand him anyway. It doesn't matter. I will do whatever Moat was just doing. He tried to heal. That didn't work super well. I can't do that. I'll just step up right behind, like back to back with Moat, and start swinging the books.
Alright.
Oh no.
Miracle save.
Uh, 24 is good. You just start hacking away at these things. 9 points of slashing is good. They don't seem to bleed. But they do take 16 more points of slashing as you just cleave through. There's probably down to like 20 of these books left, just floating around the room.
Flurry blows.
You reach out, just grab a couple of them, and just like a phone book, tear them in half. Another 16. And then one more. 22 is good, and that actually, you're able to catch the last 2 or 3 books that are flying around, stack them up together like a burger, and just bite down with this horrible, horrible force, spitting out shreds of paper and probably swallowing a few of them on accident, as you are able to eliminate the last of the flying books within the room.
I'm feeble-minded. It's not an accident.
That's
That's how you learn.
Alright, you do still see that Shadow Nomad is flickering under the daylight, but it is still there and it still looks hostile. That'll bring us to Elise. She's going to see if she can deal with that. And it is, it's how you gain knowledge.
Sure.
Ooh, that'll actually do it. And with that, there is an explosion of black, inky clouds that roll across the ground and are eventually swept out into limbo. There's a crack of lightning from outside that illuminates the entire area for a moment. And then you watch as this kind of ghastly essence and energy pools into 2 humanoid forms. They don't really seem to... One of them looks like it wants to
I think
linger.
you forgot.
Oh,
someone.
there's still an Ace over there. You're right. You're totally right. Ace, your real turn is up.
Isn't it great how Ace that the Shadow Ace is just so good at hiding?
It's so
You didn't
hiding.
even see him.
It's so sneaky.
I'm just gonna bonus action, take the hide action. I can see. I don't know if you can see very. You know what? Instead, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna pop out over here. I'm going to use my ability to. He needs to make a deception check against my insight check
Oh boy, this is going
to
to
see
be good.
if I have sneak attack on him.
Yeah, this thing seems to be like near automaton levels of invention. It is very predictable.
Yeah, it's okay. Even if he had my stats, it wouldn't have worked. And then I'm just gonna shoot him.
And that will do it. With just a single shot square between the eyes, Shadowy Ace is defeated. And then there's a crash of lightning, and you watch as all of this kind of ectoplasmic energy coalesces into 2 humanoid forms. One of them seems to want to go over towards this thing, and for a moment it tries, but it just doesn't seem to be able to make any sort of connection. And eventually, that is the one that comes over here and turns into this haggish-looking human woman with a big cowl and a crazy hat that's lopsided and bent at one side. And she's like,
Claudia, you've got some splaining to do.
I don't have to explain anything to you.
I'd really appreciate it if you did, though. That was a harrowing experience, and a lot of us are in a lot of danger.
I could
I feel
try.
like we could have. I feel like we've gotten to like at least a little better speaking terms now. At least there's no more books. There's no more you hiding around here anywhere, right? Can we talk?
No, well,
I just want to talk.
I'm as everywhere as I've always been, but at least right here I'm present right now. I can see you, and I don't want to hurt you right now.
That's nice.
I am everywhere, though. Are you?
Me? I could be anywhere I want at any time.
No, but are you everywhere?
I dash behind her and then 120 feet away from her, and then I'm just like instant transmissioning around the map, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty omnipotent. I'm pretty
That's a
omniscient
good
if I want to
show.
be.
But are you everywhere?
Aren't we all everywhere?
Nah.
See, this guy gets it. This guy gets it. You're the.
Oh,
you're the one.
sorry. You were getting.
You're the one. You're the one like me.
He's
Where did-
definitely the guy.
You're the one. Well, you're also. You've got the. You have the arms, right?
I
What,
do
these
have
ones?
arms.
No, not your arms. I'm
I-
not talking to you.
I pop Bureau out. I imagine it's just like Vasu and then like 4 additional arms all flexing in unison.
Good. He was wonderful. I'm glad to see that he's still kicking too. Oh, this is exciting. It's been so long since anyone came to see me.
So what happens now?
Oh. Oh shit, I don't remember. Where are the little ones? The little ones are supposed to do everything.
They're predisposed.
Across from her, just kind of watching all of this with kind of an entertained smile on her face and soft features, and a bit of a look that says, yeah, this is clearly, like, she's crazy and I get it, but also this is kind of fun. And you get the sense that the two of them are probably good friends. You do see that there is, I'm going to double check real quick. Where is it? Where are my notes? Sorry. Give me 30 seconds to find these fucking notes.
Absolutely not.
Oh, no. Oh, right. Wait, hang on. Wait for it. Yes, Tabaxi. This very old Tabaxi woman.
The dancer.
Kind of drooping whiskers a little bit. You can see that she's just got the signs of a weary, old, and full and rich life on her face. A permanent smile. It's like her eyes are always closed, like a cat resting in a windowsill. She just has this very, very soft, warm glow about her, even in her kind of undead and ghastly state. And she says, I don't think our friends are going to help us this time. It looks like we might be on our own. But that's okay. I think I remember everything. It has been some time, though. I think we're supposed to go upstairs, and we're all supposed to touch the egg with you, and that should do it. And then we can... You did come to revive the Phoenix, right? You are the Avatar, and if I understand correctly, you, looking to Vasu, are the Elemental Warden. It has been a very long time since we've seen one of those.
Oh, is that like a real title? I kind of just I've kind of just been calling myself that, but yeah, I guess I might be.
Well, do you... you're on some sort of a journey with the elemental locus within Biaro to regather these and combine them together into a locus, yes?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, titles are just made up words, but as far as I'm concerned, that makes you a locus warden, yes.
Question.
Cool. I love questions, yes.
So whenever Moat and you guys all touch the egg, what happens?
Oh, it is invigorating. It's crazy. You're not going to believe it.
I'm so excited.
Okay, I guess my question is anyone going to die from it?
No, heavens no. I mean, people are dying always, all the time. We're all dead from sort of just like a static perspective
But I
of the
meant
universe.
is Moat going to die?
Of
from
course,
touching the
he's
egg?
mortal, right? He'll die eventually. He's already dead in some
No,
timelines.
I meant from will touching the egg cause him to die? Not like will he die after touching the egg years and years later?
No. And after like an awkward silence for a moment or two, Toril does look over and says, "No, for real. He won't die. It will be an exhausting ordeal, but we'll be there to lend our power as well. Energy is drawn from the souls, and given that ours are not occupied, we'll be doing most of the heavy lifting, so to say."
What do you mean that yours aren't occupied?
Well, this is something that I don't fully understand. Leon was able to explain it pretty well, and there are bits and pieces that I remember. But something is wrong with the afterlife. Things aren't working the way that they're supposed to, and we suspect it probably has something to do with what she, and she points over to Claudia, what she calls the catastrophe. The end of days, the day the stars fell. It ruined everything. It ruined all of Earth and all of the afterlife and everything. It broke it all. Time split and space split and the universe split, and now everything is everywhere and nowhere is everywhere too.
I just want to say for the record, I really appreciate all like the mic movements you're doing. It's very great.
I appreciate it. I hate doing it. She's a terrible person and I love her.
I think she's my favorite character that you've ever voiced, personally.
It's the creepy breathing that really sells it.
Oh yes.
Like she feels close.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful mixture of like Wicked Witch and Smeagol.
Oh no.
Like it a lot.
Well, hopefully you guys don't attune to her and leave her behind forever so that I never have to do her again.
with a dash of like.
I'm
Witcher
gonna
Hazel.
which mask was hers again? I'm personally going to attune to it now.
As you pull it out, you do see that they both seem to immediately recognize their masks, and they're able to. Claudia doesn't even ask; she just like, oh, gimme, 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 gimme. She places both of her hands on, and she thinks, hot chocolate, cats, hot chocolate, cats, hot chocolate, cats, and you see that the mask starts to kind of. Fuck me. The mask starts to just kind of glow in her hand, and eventually. Tora will take hers as well, and you do see that those both become activated. And let me pull those both out real quick.
I assume one of them gives us hot chocolate and cats.
Before we go up and do all this, and I'm just kind of off in the corner reflecting daylight off my shield to do like a laser pointer in front of Elise and Nordo.
Sure.
You guys think we could like fix this?
Certain Valna can.
His head keeps popping out of his shell to try to like snap at the laser.
Oh,
Uh,
that does look.
I can if we level up.
I can shoot them with an arrow to dispel it, but it's not a very strong spell.
I do not think this spell will work on this one.
No, it won't. It won't. It won't. This is an effect that's everywhere and every time at once. It's instant. It's just a snap. It's a snap. You can't fix it even more than you can fix magical healing or a teleportation, something like that. His brain is scrambled, fried like eggs. I do like eggs too, but not as much as tea. But I've never had tea in eggs.
You've never had tea?
In eggs?
Why would you?
Egg
I don't know.
in tea?
Eggs and tea are delicious.
No.
Was
Okay, hold on. Hold on, guys. I can kind of see where she's coming from. What if you like hard-boiled an egg and like scooped the yolk out like you're making a deviled egg or something, right? But instead of putting the yolk back in that egg white mold, you fill it with like tea.
This sounds disgusting.
disgusting.
I don't want
This
to give the
sounds
wrong
so
impression.
bad.
It does, and I blame you
I
for
must
suggesting it and
insist we
putting the
make
idea in my
haste.
head.
Their heads will be scrambled for longer if we do not make haste. It might become permanent.
That is probably
Yeah, how do we
true.
fix this?
I've heard of very powerful magic that might be able to do the trick. Do you have a healer among you?
Well,
Right
that one, I'm
there.
gonna point to Elise.
I point to Elise, yeah, who's probably just like curled up in a patch of sun right now.
She
But there
She's
is
a
another.
cat.
It's bizarre. At first, she was like mortified. She keeps looking at injuries, and she's like fawning over injuries, and she looks scared and nervous. The sunlight makes her feel comfortable, but she has just this wide open stare. She's like she's shaking, like she looks scared. She does not know what's going on, and she looks
Oh.
very scared.
So
Well,
Nomad very gently puts an arm around her shoulders, and I know you cannot understand me, Elise, but faith does not require intellect. Just take this, is like her holy symbol, and pray for a miracle.
Crying, but because of the daylight.
I'm sorry, I would dispel it if I could.
Maybe we should head upstairs.
Let's go look for Valna. I'm certain
surely
has a way to remove this.
Iuna Silverwind, with a name that ridiculous, surely she can fix this.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna take pictures of these murals and shit.
All right,
Oh, good idea.
I've been taking pictures in every room.
give me a perception check, Ace.
By the way, we didn't realize who got inspiration this week.
Oh, I totally forgot to do that. Okay, so the timing of some things here is going to be important, and I'm going to do it in order because it is about to get important. First of all, you all level up.
Oh,
Again.
Hooray!
so
Wow.
soon and so delightful.
And scary.
Second, Ace, as you are flying around and floating about and taking pictures of this whole place, you hear above you, from the other side of the island, the top side where you entered, on the floating rocks, sounds that are somewhat familiar. They sound like young to medium young snarls of large creatures, slightly reptilian, kind of like an alligator's low rumble.
Like a dragon.
Zaze.
You also hear the sound of metal clinking, like suits of armor shuffling about, but large and slow-paced. It's like metal barding on a large creature.
just got reliable talent.
It took a couple.
Question: What's our total level right now?
You guys just hit
That's
17, which means a lot of things happen. Your proficiency goes up. Your cantrips are all now at their max level.
Oh. Oh.
You're at end game.
Everyone, there's something big coming. It sounds like dragons and giant pieces of armor.
Yeah.
We must hurry.
Notably, looking around, you don't see movement, but you hear all of this coming from the island above you. And from what it's worth, with the 26, it doesn't sound like frantic. It doesn't sound like a battle. It sounds like a bunch of kind of docile, large creatures, some of which are probably wearing plate armor. But then, yeah. What do you guys do?
These murals, anything important?
Looking at the mural, you do actually see that this one is double-sided as you kind of fly around it a little bit. You can see that on one face is Claudia, and on the other face is Toril. And they had some writing on them originally, but it seems to have been just destroyed by this blast. It is not legible. You can really only see from like the chest up of each of them. The rest of this thing has just been blown to bits. Notably, all the bits are still floating around, held in place by this area of no or bizarre gravity.
I start heading back to the druids.
I follow Mo wherever he goes.
And
Yeah, I'll go with.
All right, you guys start hustling back. You've already been through. You're aware of all the puzzles and the places that you've been along the way. You just start hustling up. And when you get to the final hallway, the one that branches left or right, and that will eventually re-emerge into the room with the phoenix egg, do you want to come up on the left side of that room or the right side of that room? Or split
Why
and do
would
both?
you ask me that?
I know, it's very important potentially.
Well, if
I'll
we come up on the right side, we won't be able to see as much down the hallway that the entrance is at. Maybe.
I'm a simple man. I'll come back up the same way I came down. So I think I went down the left side. I'll go up the left side.
All right, so Moat on the left. Is anybody not going on the left behind Moat?
I'm probably might as well. We came here with him.
Staying with Mo wherever he goes.
All right. Moat and whoever is right behind Moat, give me a perception check.
I'll do it.
I'll do it because I'm advantage.
Okay.
Moat, you don't really notice it until Ace does, and it's up to Ace if he wants to like grab your ankle or try to stop you. But after a while, Ace, at the bottom of the stairs, you hear the sound of armor shifting, like an armored individual just kind of shifting their weight from one foot to the other, from not quite the top of the stairs, but from the room beyond. It becomes clear to you that there is somebody in heavy armor waiting up in this room, and you also hear low murmured whispering from a small voice that resonates slightly as if being spoken from inside of like an iron helmet or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of tap Moat, put a finger to my mouth.
I swear to Christ, if that's Eddie, I'm going to kill him. No, but I'll stop.
I'll start being stealthy.
All right. If you guys want to try to sneak up, I need stealth checks from everybody. If you're just sending like a scout, let me know now.
I let Ace just go by himself.
The lowest I could roll is a 26.
All right, give me a roll.
And it's dark, and then I can roll for more. But I'm assuming there's fire everywhere.
The stairwell is dark, but by the time you poke your head out, it is pretty well lit because of all the embers like immediately surrounding the staircase.
Well, the 26.
Okay. That's going to be a no. I think this is a no. Double checking. That is a no, thankfully. And that is also a no. Okay. As you poke your head, just ever so cautiously, up the top of the stairwell, this is what you see. I'll pull you over real quick. At first glance, it appears that you see... Pulling you over to the map now. Here we go. First of all, the source of the clinking armor sound. It's actually a lot smaller than you initially imagined, but it is still quite big once you realize what it is. It is a probably 7, maybe 8 foot tall suit of Arcana mechanical armor. It's just a hunk of metal, a big old thing. It almost looks like a construct at first, until you realize that sitting about halfway up its chest is a kobold, barely visible through a slot near its chest or its neck. Yellow scales and a large scar over his right eye. You can see that it has even metal wings that kind of extend out from the back of this heavy suit of armor. And then the next thing that you can see is over by the door. There are 2 wisps of wind. They look very familiar. You've seen this spell a whole lot. You know exactly what it is. What's the range of your true sight?
I think it's 120 feet.
It's
Let me
pretty
check.
big, right? I think it's pretty
120 feet.
Okay. As you focus and kind of hone in on the 2 of them, and especially peer through the monocle, you're able to make out 2 shapes. The first is a Kenku that you recognize, who appears to be holding both of her arms forward, kind of like a mime, doing the wall trick or whatever. And it seems that she's just kind of standing at the ready, making sort of an invisible, like she's pressed against a wall like a mime. The second shape that you notice is one that you've seen a few times as well. Varder, with his arms crossed behind his back, looking and listening intently to the conversation that's happening. The conversation that's happening seems to be between this well-armored yellow kobold and what you can immediately tell is an illusion, but it is a very, very large illusion. Find out who they love. Family, friends, I don't care. Business, even if you need to. Find out what motivates them. Go. Varder gives a nod, starts to walk out the door. You. Find out who hates them. They have enemies, we'll use them. It's time for us to make friends. Go. Uno nods, walks out the door. You. Don't let them touch this egg. Do you understand me? My son has already failed me once. Will not have him fail me again. He kind of does a very timid but sturdy nod, and he lowers the visor on his helmet. And then you watch as this large image disappears. And at this point, he kind of takes a look around the room, and you duck your head back under, and it doesn't seem that he's noticed you.
All right, I'm gonna go back down. Also, I think we probably would have. They would have just given us the rest. Those rests don't take anything for us to get from the spirits, right?
Correct. So you can get 2 of those at any time, and if there's anything that you want to do on the way up, that is pretty quick, or that you want to pull back and do now, you can do that. But this is probably where we'll wrap up for the night.
Ready?
It's just me, but also like keep in mind that Nomad can telepathically talk with me the entire time.
As far as the rest go, if we just want to divvy those real quick, I'm out of like all class resources, although my health's okay. But
Yeah.
you get some mana back from healing me because I wouldn't have needed it.
I have 1 mana.
I'm
Also, I think I had one more heal on my Displacer Cat.
I assume Nomad
Yeah,
desperately needs some mana.
saying pretty well, mana, but it's less impactful for me than other people, so I'm happy to pass.
I only have 3 key points, but I'm doing real well on health, and I know basically anybody else in the party would benefit more from this than I would, so go for it.
Yeah, I don't need it.
I'll just not use any of my monk features. It's fine.
If I take one, I can forgo the healing that Mode and Nomad gave me, or at least one of them. So that would save one of you some mana. Or if you guys just want to take them, that's also fine.
Already done it, so you might as well keep it. But we need to find a way to fix Elise.
Does
Yeah.
anyone have a way to send to Volna?
If I take the
I've got message.
It's unlikely that either they're on our side or that they're alive because Barter was here.
I take a short
true.
rest, I can change my spell preparation, and I can take Greater Restoration and fix Nardo and Elise up.
So Gale gets one for sure.
That seems wise.
I guess notably, house rule, if we don't do it in the first hour, then it's going to require some weird components.
It's true.
100 diamond, I believe.
Yeah, normally it's just 100 gold piece diamond, but if you wait more than an hour, then you have to gather other things.
Yeah.
I think is the find it.
I'll double check. I'm pretty sure that's right. It's either an hour or it might be a day for greater, but let me go check.
If we make it out of here, we can go to the kobold area. They might have diamonds.
I assume we have diamonds, although that might be a faulty assumption.
It is an hour. Yep.
Real quick though, before we wrap up officially, does Ace share that information with anybody?
I mean, I was going to. I'm not. So either Nomad is telepathically talk with, go back down and tell everyone in vivid detail. Try to figure out if I don't know if I'm going to be late. I don't think I'll be late next Wednesday, but if I am, I was going to ask Gale if he recognized this kobold with a scar and all that jazz. And I assume I don't recognize this dragon. I'm assuming it's Azadir's father. He said son.
What is your passive investigation, Ace?
My passive investigation.
Or you can give me an investigation check. Either one. You were there for it.
I mean, my past. I mean, I might as well because I can't get worse than it with my expertise now.
You got reliable talent now. Hell yeah.
24.
Yes, two things strike you as very notable. First of all, when you were fighting Shul a long time ago on the airship, a large green dragon's head came out and terrified Gale, and he later explained that was Azadirith. This is not the same dragon. This dragon is partially skeletal, it looked like. It's not green scaled, and it seemed real large. And secondly, it mentioned that his son had failed him once. You imagine that
That was Azadirith.
it's probably referring to Azadirith, although you're not 100% sure on that.
Probably referring to the two topside.
I doubt it. I am feeling like it might be a different dragon. That one seemed pretty old, and I don't think it was going to be trusting those guys. Do I know what a Dracolich is?
So, spoilers, I just got a 9th level spell slot. And if I don't use any mana, I have 13, which is enough to cast one 9th level spell.
Woo!
I don't have any 9th level spells yet, just the spell slot. So, I could do a teleport, for example, which I think is still prepared. Let me check. Teleport is not prepared. Whoopsie.
All right, guys, I need to go zonk out. I am exhausted.
All right, have a good night, dude.
See ya. Did we figure out who's taking those rests before we wrap that up? Because obviously that happens pretty
Oh, not
away
me.
if we're doing
I
it.
think it was Gale and someone else.
I can't take a rest anymore because I took one already, right?
The special rests that they give are not like catnap. They're not limited. If you want to take the other, and if everybody agrees on it, you could take another short rest from them.
Sure. Can I take another short rest?
Take it.
I'll give.
Yeah, so
I'll
go for it.
teleport. Yeah, I'll switch my spells out as well, and then we can decide which spells we need for getting out of here.
Perfect. Like it's a great combo. Gale to get me and Elise fixed up, and you to know what we're doing to get out of here.
Yeah.
And to make it clear, I think unless Ace says different, he mimics that whole conversation. He tells you everything. I don't think.
Yes, I mimic every single thing, every detail I found,
All right.
everything I saw.
Cool.
Vasu immediately begins writing a letter. Like, before you even finish stops talking.
Excellent.
For the sake of bookkeeping, I'm gonna just spend that mana and expend the resources for those 2 greater restorations.
All right.
Yeah.
Note it down. That does mean you'll have Nordo and Elise back in fighting condition. With a couple of greater restorations, you're able to get to it quickly enough that the effects have not seeped in, and just the normal casting of the spell is able to reverse the Feeble Mind.
Outstanding. Thank you, yeah.
For Nordo, it's like waking up from a very weird and bad dream. You have a vague recollection of the time that you were out, but it's all just kind of a blur. It feels like a dream.
Right.
All right.
All right, we'll play that out next week because I got to bounce too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you once
All right.
again. Thank you, Feck, for committing so hard to that creepy witch.
No joke. Horrifying.
She's fun. She's interesting.
All right. Good night, everyone.
See you guys.
Where's she in the items?
Oh, right. I do need to show those. That's right.
She's the one with gems. Gems.
So this is the Tabaxi. And this is Figure Fish.